Good afternoon and welcome to the VFL live on KO Sports. We're at Frankston today for the clash between the Frankston Dolphins and Richmond. Teo Pellizzeri is my name, AFLW star. Bonnie Toogood joins me. And Bonnie, you wouldn't know it's the 1st of August. You'd be more inclined to think it's the 1st of September on a day like today.
Absolutely. Blue skies down here at SkyBus Stadium. It's good weather. We're near the beach. You'd think it'd be a bit windy, but the wind's stayed down and hopefully it doesn't become a factor at all.
So these two teams coming in with middling records. Frankston 6-4 ahead of the win-loss count. Richmond 3-1-5, looking to put one over a Frankston team that has the home ground advantage today, but unfortunately no fans due to COVID restrictions. For Frankston, one late in to the team, Tom Small was not in the selected side, but he comes in for Angus Stiles, who drops out, and the four emergencies, Tane Barlow, Riley Darcy, Jay Florent and Kai Owens do not suit up for today's clash. And so this very steady Frankston team, which has had some impressive results against AFL-affiliated clubs through the season, will have almost all of their leading lights playing for them today. And then by contrast, Richmond, of course, with their senior team away to Fremantle in Perth later this afternoon. They have left out of the selected side Jack Ross, Jason Castagna, Jack Arts, Josh Caddy, Thompson Dow, Callum Coleman-Jones, Sydney Stack and Ben Miller. So you won't be seeing any of them today. But of course, plenty of AFL-listed talent and a number of players who have had a handful of senior games this season who, depending on the Tigers' result this afternoon, may well be getting some more senior opportunities as the season goes on. Of course, I'm sure Richmond fans will be hoping that the finals dream stays well and truly alive against the Dockers later today. There is the aforementioned ladder. Richmond, a percentage of above 100, even though they sit 15th on the table. So when they win big. And when they lose, they stay competitive. Frankston, by contrast, 2 wins ahead of the win-loss count at 6-4. Bonnie, you've seen Frankston once already this season, and you were quite impressed with them against Essendon away at Windy Hill. Do you think Richmond can take it up to them here at Frankston today?
I'm really intrigued to see how they match up on Nathan Freeman today. He's only had 3 games of below 40 disposals, so whether Richmond potentially put a tag on him and slow him down, but I think the key for them today is not let Frankston have open space. So that really works for Richmond in their high-pressure games, so it will be a tough battle from the get-go.
Without Callum Coleman-Jones, it will be interesting to see who Richmond lean on to kick them a winning score. Samson Ryan, with that one senior AFL game, 15 goals, 7 this year, so he's an obvious target, not just because of his height, but because of his production so far this season, and he's clearly having a good VFL campaign. But Frankston have a lot of avenues to goal in this afternoon's team, with Begley kicking 19 majors and Lambert and also Cox 14 goals each. They have multiple avenues to goal, which Richmond will have to concern themselves with, and kicking a winning score at the other end may be a challenging issue for them today.
Yeah, definitely. Frankston have real threats up forward, and even they're tall forwards. They also have really dangerous small forwards like those like Mentha as well as Bailey Lambert. So they've got all forces up there, and they've got to make sure that they're kicking it through the big sticks to keep piling on the points.
So as I said, unfortunately no crowds in this afternoon. Looking around, I can see maybe 3 or 4 spectators who I'm sure have valid reasons for being here, professional reasons for working at today's game. Otherwise, everyone else is consigned either to the bench or to the media centre here. We're keeping it COVID safe in the VFL, but it does mean that we hope you're enjoying the coverage on KO Freebies this afternoon. It's already been a bumper weekend of VFL action. Of course, 3 weekends without footy for Victoria, with the latest lockdown now starting to be eased. And of course, a shout out to anyone watching from Queensland and the specific Brisbane suburbs that are going through the snap lockdown themselves, which claimed the game between Gold Coast and Southport yesterday in pretty stunning fashion, with players being told to leave the field just 10 minutes into the first quarter. Anyway, our focus is on Richmond and Frankston right here. And great ground level shot as well at this picturesque stadium here down on the southern peninsula. So, first siren goes, and we're ready to see what Frankston have in store here, welcoming Richmond as Jack Berry goes to work against Samson Ryan in the first ruck duel of the day, and immediately it's the Dolphins with the first handball out, but not able to hit a target, Connor Riley, and a free kick is going to go the way of Frankston, and that may be a bit fortunate not to be a 50-metre penalty, but Mitchell Cox will take the free kick from inside the centre square. Sold his teammate into a little bit of trouble, but the mark is taken over on the outer side wing. And now looking to own the corridor. Goes over the head of the ruckman, but the mark's been taken by Tyler Young. He goes long. Does he go straight? Yes, he does. What a start. 35 seconds on the clock. And Frankston, through Tyler Young, have banged through the first goal of the game, and that sets a tone.
How's that? Bringing the ball into the corridor, and then you have one of your backmans lining up for goal. I'm pretty sure he was setting it up, but maybe the wind just got behind it and it sailed through the big sticks. You love to see it, and that jog back for Young will be very exciting. He'll be like, I've done a good job already today.
So Tyler Young, fourth goal of the season. So he picks his moments for when to get forward. And for a player that averages just 8 possessions a game, he has made his first kick of the afternoon count for full force. So Richmond haven't been past literally the centre line. Can Frankston hit them again, or will the Tigers respond? Coming without the ball there was Garrett Donaghy, and he is going to receive the free kick. And now he goes high to the half-forward line. Ball is spoiled away. Frankston take possession through Anthony Brolich. And going back with the flank, Josh Newman able to hold the mark. Richmond transitioning back into defence, but there's a couple of loose Frankston players over on this near side wing, one of which is Harry Lofton. He's going to go inside forward 50 and spot up the target. And Frankston have started sharp. They're the ones that are lining up for 2 goals in quick succession to start this game. And now it's going to be James Rendell, their big target. Do you back him from this sort of distance, Bonnie? 48 metres when he kicks, slightly off centre.
I back him in. He hasn't been hugely accurate this season, so hopefully he can turn that around and kick it through.
So Rendell, very long, very deliberate run-up. He's going to kick from outside the 50-metre arc and hook it. And that accuracy remains so much of an issue that he has put it out of bounds on the full. And so far this season, Rendell has kicked 4 goals, 7. And so that won't go on the tally, but we'll just store it in the memory bank that he did put his first set shot of the game out on the full. Hugo Ralphsmith takes the mark here for Richmond as they try to get out of defensive 50. Call to play on, and then just chips it short.
Good option by Ralph Smith there, because there's a spare man back in Max Williams for Frankston holding him up.
And Will Martin's kick, maybe a little fortunate not to sail out of bounds on the full. The contest made sure they got there just by the paint of the line, and so the boundary throw-in will take place instead. Right in front of the interchange gate. Ryan and Berry resume their ruck duel. It's first hands for the Dolphins, but too hot to handle Mitch Cox's handball, and so away come the Tigers. Riley Collier-Dawkins sends it to the outer side wing. Mark is taken by Matt Bartlett, and spotting up a lead. Free kick or a mark, take your pick. Will Martin has got to the ball, and so Richmond will look to go inside 50 for the first time in this game. Back into the centre. Garrett McDonough. A lot of traffic, about 35, 40 metres in front of the ball, but he's still able to pinpoint a target. And so they'll wind inside forward 50 here. Scanlon, high to the hot spot, and it's spoiled away from Samson Ryan. Big tackle laid, and no one's coming out of there. Credit to Berry at the fall of the ball for laying a huge tackle and wrapping up Noah Cumberland. And he has been a sharpshooter in front of goal at times this season, so he'll be very closely watched whenever Richmond go inside forward 50. Samson Ryan gets the tap down. Rioli kick smothered. And now round the corner, it is a behind. So first score of the game for Richmond, but not able to get it the right side of the stick. Will Martin puts through a behind.
I'm really intrigued to see Cumberland today. The last time he played, round 13 against Collingwood, he kicked 5-3. So he has the capability of kicking a bag, and I think he'll need his best today to help Richmond get over the line.
9 goals, 6 total so far this season for Noah Cumberland, so we'll watch out for him. Has a very effective clearance right up to centre wing position. It broke through the hands of Max Williams, but now at the fall of the ball, it's an opportunity for Stern, the New South Welshman, Chain of handballs here. Who's going to get a clean possession? Newman went without. Now the Tigers trying to emerge, and they do get it out of there through Lachlan Street. He is a natural left-footed too. Up to the top of 50, Rioli puts on the Jets. Little burst of acceleration, and over the head of Cumberland, he can't take the mark. And so sweeping through in defence, Tyler Young, the only goal kicker so far, gets it out to the back pocket. Frankston far from out of trouble though. That's a hospital handball. And so it's put the Tigers back in position to snap around the corner and try for the first of the game. It won't get the scoreboard. Ralph Smith almost marked it as it tailed away from goal. And it doesn't look like a windy day. I think that was just a miss kick across the face, and it finds its way out for a boundary throw-in.
Good pressure there by Richmond just to keep it inside their forward 50. They're going to need that so they can get repeat opportunities to kick a goal.
Stephen Morris has come to the bench for Richmond. Matt Bartlett coming back on. Rotations in full effect already for the Tigers as they try to find a goal. Scanlon did the ruck work, but his tap was sharked, and Frankston are away. They've got a man out the back here in Josh Stern, and now it's 2-on-2 ahead of the ball, including Rendell. Good spoil coming from over the back, though. Joel Noah did very well to make sure that the big man didn't clunk it, and instead he wraps him up and forces a ball up. But that's really good one-on-one defending.
That's exactly what you need from your full-back, is to come through with a big fist and spoil the mark. Really good effort by him. So
Joel Nathan may have been beaten to the ball once by Rendell, but that's 1-1 in their duel so far. Snap around the corner from Bailey Lambert and marked, yes, with the flight. And it's Brodie McLaughlin who will turn and line up for goal. Very good contested grab against Bagoa Nguyen. And on a tight angle here, he'll be looking for a check side kick.
That was a great mark. He just read the flight of the ball better than the defender. So that was a great effort by him. And let's see if he can get a check side in that pocket.
Tight angle for Brodie McLaughlin to deal with. It's a low, flat check side, and he doesn't put it through. He steers it a little skinny to the near side, and it means that Frankston are 1-1-7. Richmond 1 behind 1 point, and McLaughlin 7 goals, 5 now for the season. Richmond allowed to take the extra 15 metres and then bang out of defence. McDonough's long kick through the hands of Ryan, but he had a chop of the arms there from his rucking counterpart. And he kicks it square. Oh, that's what they call the coach killer, square into the corridor in your back half. And so now Frankston get another opportunity. Are they going to use it effectively, though? Stearns high up and under. Ryan can make immediate amends. And let's see the decision this time. He's going to hand it short. Egmalesi Smith straight into trouble. It wasn't a good decision. He gets a third chance to get out of trouble and now puts it out to the pocket. And wrapped up in a tackle. Not coming out of there is Joel Nathan. And so Samson Ryan, 3 opportunities to try and get the ball out of the back 50, but it's all about choices, isn't it?
All about choices, but it's good for him to, you make those mistakes, but you've got to keep your head up and keep trying them. There's a clear directive that they want to try switch the ball and open the game up like that. So he's got to keep trying it. At one point it will pay off and they'll get the ball down the other end. And
I suppose the positive spin is Egmalesi Smith called for the ball, knowing he would have to take on 2 opponents immediately, and he just wasn't able to find a way through the traffic. Ball inside forward 50. Naish goes around 180 degrees, but still able to get away an effective handball. And now deep in the clinches, Naish gets a handball away, but it's gone to the opposition. This is a great chance for Ash Crack around the corner. And they're peppering, but they're not cashing in here, Frankston. 1 goal, 2 now, and an out of bounds on the full. So it's 8 points to 1, 8:45 into the first quarter.
Don't go too wide, Tyler. Just come back in about 5.
So we wait for the kick in again. Tigers having a few issues getting out of their defensive 50 at the moment. That is clever from McDonough, though. Sold the dummy and then got another 15 metres on his kick. Hard up against the boundary line. Almost kept in. Great endeavour right down against the paint of the line by Riley Loughton, but the boundary umpire was in perfect position.
Frankston definitely winning the territory battle at the moment. They've had 5 inside 50s, in fact, to Richmond's 2.
Can they make the most of it, though, is the question. Lots of tugging of the jerseys going on, and a little bit hard to disguise there. Ryan gives away the free kick to Berry and immediately hands off to Newman. And he's wiped out after kicking, so this should be a downfield free kick. And Brodie McLaughlin's got himself closest to the ball. There's a bit of push and shove afterwards. Rioli and also Voss there. A couple of famous footy names, but it's Maurice Rioli and also Jackson Voss who were pushing and shoving. It's broken up now. There won't be any additional sanction, no reversal, no 50-metre penalty, just a set shot here. And after going for the check side on an impossible angle earlier, it's a far more conventional set shot for Brodie McLaughlin, looking for Frankston's second of the game, and he's pushed it wide right.
Ooh, that's not what Frankston need. They've had multiple. They're peppering, as you said earlier, they're peppering at goal, but they're not quite able to convert, which we don't want that to bite them later on down the track.
John Nathan called to play on, not 15. Umpires might be hot on that today. As we see Frankston force another turnover, do they take advantage? Method decides against it, and so it's going to come back to Bailey Lambert, of course, or is it boundary throw-in? Well, we've got a boundary throw-in because players are being ordered down into the 50-metre arc. It looked like you got taken high there, Bailey Lambert, but play will resume from a boundary throw-in instead. And Richmond with a ripping handball out of the 50-metre arc. Rioli lays a tackle, not able to lay hands on the ball. And so at the 11-minute mark, Richmond just the solitary point, and Frankston on top, but not making it show. 1-2-8. So now the ball up some 60 metres out from goal. No Richmond ruck contested it, coming through. Freeman. And out of hands. Looks as though Nathan Oakes is starting on Freeman. Do you think they'll rotate players through him, or will they look for a one-on-one matchup for the whole day?
He hasn't been as dominant at the start of this game, but I'm sure he'll work himself into it. I think they'll need to roll different people on him. He just knows how to find the ball. He works really hard, so it's going to be a really tough one for Richmond today, and I'm intrigued to see how they play it out.
From the pocket, Frankston attacking, and Neon takes a good mark down on the last line of defence against his opponent.
Don't let it out this side.
McLaughlin, who has had the 2 shots on goal already today. Bago and Neon sees a loose man at the top of defensive 50. It was a bit of a floater, but it got there in the end. And so now Riley Collier-Dawkins turns into the centre square. The ball will make its way through to Morris eventually after a couple of Frankston touches. Trying to spoil from the back. Can Richmond conjure something up here through Cam Olden? They've spilt it. Hugo Ralph-Smith on the turn. An eye for goal. A snap round the corner. It's bent too far. And then it takes a miracle bounce and goes through. And Hugo Ralph-Smith kicks the first goal of the game with an off-spinner that Murali would be proud of. It is Richmond 1-1-7 trailing Frankston 1-2-8.
That's what we call the footy gods helping us out, isn't it? That was a great turn, turned on a dime, Ralph Smith there, and then was able to get a good purchase on the snap and had a miracle bounce that went through. As the defender, it's the last thing you want. You're just praying that it doesn't go in the opposite direction, and there it did, and your heart breaks for the Frankston defender there, but for Ralph Smith, you get to celebrate a goal.
Oh, that is incredibly unlucky, but that's what the ball can do. And so a lucky bounce, maybe just a perfect conjuring of the Sharon there from Hugo Ralph-Smith means that Richmond get there first, and Frankston's early territorial control of the game counts for little because the Tigers are streaming forward once again here. Will Martin inside forward 50, and they'll turn around and line up for goal. Sharp attack, and this is the man from Gisborne, Jack Scanlon, playing just his second VFL game into the pocket. He didn't like the distance, but they're going to get a chance to follow up anyway. Dylan Cook, round the corner, allowed to bounce. They're dangerous again here, the Tigers, in this situation. 20 metres out from goal in the corridor. Frankston numbers trying to converge. No one getting a clean possession on the ball. Eventually snapped through for a major, and Richmond have got 2 in the space of a minute, and it looks like it's Noah Cumberland who has put it through and put the Tigers in front for the first time today.
Maybe that could be the start of his bag that he may kick today. It wasn't pretty there by Richmond, but they're able to just have pressure, and the ball bounced up, and Cumberland was able to take advantage of that. Really good effort. I'm excited to see more of Will Martin, who got that clearance out of the centre bounce there. He is a great inside mid, and if he can get a bit of dominance in there and surge the ball forward like he did, I think Richmond have a really good chance.
And as you said, not the cleanest passage of play there, but give a little bit of credit to Matt Bartlett, who managed to get a handball into the traffic, and then it still required Cumberland to go and win his own Sharon and throw it on the left boot and snap it through. Ball back in the middle. Tigers in front, having struck twice in quick succession. Can they go again for a third goal? Clearance goes with Oakes this time, the man who's playing on Freeman. Push in the back means it's a Richmond free kick. Riley Lowton. And he goes short. Finds Will Martin. Another inside 50 coming up for him. Goes into the pocket. Ralph Smith offers the lead. And a good spoil coming over the back, but Richmond have got the numbers. Hooked to the top of the goal square. Cumberland waits down rather than going up for the fly. And that's good, solid work from Newman to ride one tackle. He's lost the ball, though, and the umpire is pinging him. One tackle too many, and Cumberland now is lining up for his second goal in a row. This would be 3 Richmond goals in 3 minutes. It took them 14 minutes to get going, but now they have sprung to life.
It seems they've stepped up the pressure just a little bit around the ball and getting their hands first to it, and then that just gives them the ability to set up and surge it forward, which we know Richmond love to do, that high-pressure game, and it's seeming to pay off here if Cumberland can kick it through, and he does.
Indeed. He does. So 11 for the season now for Cumberland, and his second of the game. And you can see a lot of Tigers getting to him because, of course, after winning the hard ball to snap his first of the day, he's won a free kick there for holding the ball to get his second. And as you mentioned, Bonnie, when you saw him in the Collingwood game, he got on a bit of a streak and was able to turn it into quite a prolific run of scoring.
Sometimes all the player needs is just get that roll of confidence, and it's hard to stop them.
3-1-19 plays 1-3-9 on the main scoreboard here at SkyBus Stadium. With Frankston perhaps now starting to rue some of those missed opportunities in the first 12 or 13 minutes of this game when they were on top. Richmond have had 2 very clean takeaways from the last 2 centre bounces. What have Frankston got in response? This time getting in, Begley makes a contest, but Richmond are able to extract it through Collier Dawkins. And now they will come away with clean possession. Out to centre wing position with Dylan Cook. Spreaders running wide of him to the right, and he's called to play on. Cook chips it short. Egmalesi-Smith had to take it on the half volley. Not the greatest pass to him. Collier Dawkins now able to free the arms and keep it moving. Cook gets a chance to make amends for putting a few teammates in the hot spot, and he does so nicely. Rioli able to shrug a tackle, spins around. Good awareness of where his teammates are. It's a 3-on-1 at the top of 50. They can raffle it here, the Tigers, and now Riley Lowton pops it into the path of Ralph Smith, and suddenly it is champagne footy from the Tigers because Frankston can't put a hand on it.
Absolutely. They've got dominance in the ruck, Richmond, so they're able to set up how they would like, and then they get a clean clearance out, and then they just were able to pop it around. No, I don't want to say it looked like a training drill, but they were able to get the handballs out, and then that was great vision by Rioli to centre it in the middle of the ground, and then there was a 3-on-1, and how could you stop that?
So Ralph Smith now trying to become a multiple goals kicker as well. You can see the angle is not the sharpest, and he's able to put it over the goal umpire's hat as a result. Just a good, well-taken 35-metre set shot. And Hugo Ralphsmith makes it Richmond 4-1-25 to Frankston 1-3-9, 2 goals for him.
Rioli's kick into the middle is actually really important because that opens up the 50 for the forwards to move into. So that allowed Ralph Smith to lead into that pocket and get use more of the 50, which it just makes it easier. Your eyes light up as a forward when that is a possibility, and he took full advantage of it and was a great kick into him.
And so Frankston now, as we see Hugo Ralphsmith there, sporting the long blonde locks inside the forward 50. They desperately need a centre clearance here, or even just a secondary ball up, just to break even. Richmond have been taking the ball out of the middle all too easily for 5 solid minutes now. Samson Ryan goes back to work against Berry. First hands Tigers once again, and Collier Dawkins will get it away on one bounce to the top of 50. Now the handball comes back. Matt Bartlett. And it's all Frankston under his kick. So they get a chance to steady and just feel the ball. Anthony Brolich. He's got the man on in Josh Newman. Wanted to move it quickly, but a smother comes in and turns the ball over. Cumberland with a handball. And then he lays the tackle 40 metres out. And the umpire will say it's a ball up, but even when it looked as though they had the switch on, a great piece of desperation traps the ball in forward 50 for the Tigers.
Couple mistakes there for Josh Newman in his 100th game today. He won't be happy with that.
This time Brolich gets first hands on the ball. Just a blind kick around the corner though. Richmond have got a 2-on-1. Are they going to be able to make it work? Jess McGrath had it and lost it, but Tigers keep possession as they go inside forward 50. Berry has planted himself behind the ball. And that is good use of the ruckman there as he takes the intercept mark. And now goes out to Freeman in the back pocket. And he's got Matt Bartlett standing him at the moment, so they might be looking to rotate opponents through him. But so far, his effect on the game has been quelled. As you mentioned, Bonnie, just 2 games this season where he hasn't reached 40 possessions, and he's averaging 38 per game, which is prolific.
Absolutely prolific. Oh, that word gets me every time.
Well, we will see him use the ball here again in this chain of passes as Newman goes out to the wing. And now Frankston looking to get an inside 50 for the first time in about 7 or 8 minutes. Lloyd got it over the top. And now inside forward 50 they go. They've got options. And it is McLaughlin. He was able to lose his man. And it was Samson Ryan trying to cover him in the end. Stephen Morris, more of a field general rather than his direct opponent. And Bagoa Nguyen, who started on him, wasn't in the picture. So McLaughlin, he'll be thinking about his 2 misses earlier. He needs a straight kick right here, and so does his team.
I hope he's not thinking about them, because then he may miss again. Go through his routine. He's right out in front and just back himself in and kick it through.
McLaughlin only averages 11 touches a game, so he's had a busy first quarter, the man from De La Salle. And let's see if he's true this time. He pushes it left, so he's missed 1 to the right and 1 to the left. And the misses continue for Frankston, 1-4-10, trailing 4-1-25.
Maybe you're right. Maybe he was thinking about his misses too much. As a forward, it's the last thing you can do. Otherwise, you can find yourself getting the yips and questioning and overthinking your set shot. And hopefully he gets some advice soon enough where he can get out of his head and just go through his routine. And
reflecting the change of tone in the game, Egamalesi Smith, a quick 1-2 with Morris, and Richmond are up to the wing. So for the first 10 minutes, they had issues getting out of defensive 50. On that occasion, they got to the wing in 2 possessions. However, it was intercepted by Brolich, who is starting to provide a bit of resistance here for Frankston. Brolich under the scoreboard here at SkyBus Stadium. Just a short, not too friendly kick to Jack Menther, and the ball has been turned over by some great Tiger pressure. Oakes, chain of handballs, comes unstuck. Rioli laid a tackle, but doing well was Connor Riley. Got it going Frankston's way once again, and now turning Begley. Gets the quick handball off. Stern going long. Does he get a kind bounce? He does not. In fact, it carried over the line. It looked like it was going to pitch, but instead it had just enough juice to go out of bounds on the full. And so Nyon plays it short, and Lachlan Streets, with a little left-footed dink, finds his way up to Will Martin. He's been busy in this first quarter as well, and one of the players who's turned this game in the Tigers' favour. Commentators curse because he's turned it over right here. Jackson Voss with an interception, and maybe I should have waited until he took his kick to give him a rap.
He is a great player. He's a great inside mid, such a strong body. Last time he played, he had 30-plus disposals and 12 tackles. He loves the in and under stuff.
Begley gave up the ball and tried to sell holding the man. The umpire wasn't buying it though, and so Richmond come away with possession. One-hand attempt from McDonough, and now going back in, trying to win the ball. Oakes, he can't do so. And so under pressure from Max Williams, the ball goes out for a boundary throw. And we're into time on in the first quarter. It's been a brisk 23 minutes. And Richmond, they struck quickly, kicking their 4 goals in the space of 6 minutes as we see an injured man come to the bench here for Frankston. And that will be a concern because it looks like it's Jackson Voss who is going to have to be assessed. So we don't want them 1 down early. You don't like to see players getting injured. We'll wait and see for a bit of progress on Jackson Voss. In the meantime, a gang tackle inside forward 50. Menther got his arms free, able to keep the ball moving and get a handball away. The umpire's letting them play. They don't have a choice. They have to call for a ball up now. So at the top of the 50-metre arc, can Frankston snag their second goal of the game? Trying to rip it out of there was Rendell doing the ruck work, but instead it's Richmond who come away with Dylan Cook. And now Rioli. Again, he's got that burst of acceleration which can just separate him from opponents. You can see the class he's got. Bailey Henderson takes the outlet mark and now steers it back into the middle. McDonough. Did he mark it? I think the umpire is paying the mark, and even though there's protests coming here from Frankston's Bailey Lambert, he's going to be able to go back and take his kick. And he hears the call inside defensive 50, but he opts against it, goes to Nguyen instead. Backside of the centre square, Nguyen turning, and Oakes able to hold a one-on-one mark. Freeman was trying to come in and pick his pocket. He's done well to hold on to the grab. And now on the grandstand side wing, he's put it straight into the clutches of Berry, and it goes out for a throw.
The Dolphins did a really good job just then transitioning from one side of the ground to the other to shut that switch down, which is ultimately led into a boundary throw-in.
Frankston's Brodie McLaughlin's come to the bench for a spell as well. He's had 4 shots on goal in this first quarter for 3 behinds and 1 out on the full. In the meantime, new forward setup, perhaps waiting and hoping for the ball to come their way, but Naisha's driving it forward for the Tigers instead. Bouncing at the top of 50, there to be one. Liam Hiscock was first to the ball for Frankston. Wrapped up immediately, and it's going to be a ball up. At the bottom of the pack there for Richmond, Cam Olden was also right in there. So who's going to have clean hands and get it out of a very crowded pack at the top of the 50-metre arc? Secondary bounce. This is where players have to be careful not to give away a free kick. And indeed the Ruckman, they have found a free kick. And so right on cue, it's a Richmond free. They'll be lining up for goal. It was holding the man that was the signal from the umpire out of that huge pack of players. We've got the picture-in-picture replay, and the beneficiary will be Lachlan Street. And based on his left foot so far, Bonnie, I think he'll have the distance. Just a question of the accuracy.
Yes, I think I am someone who's very optimist, and I think I'm going to back him in here. And if he does, it shows Richmond's accuracy, and that's really what's helped them get in the lead here.
I say accuracy because he's behind the ledger for the season. 5 goals, 6 in 2021. Make that 5 goals, 7. It barely squeaks in for a point. So Street, just a little wry smile on his face. He's a great field kick. It's just kicking for goal that seems to be his problem. So
you just see him there. He leant back on his kick, and when you do that, it can sometimes leave the ball drop on the outside of your foot, and you could see that. That's why it went to the left of the goal face.
And so that miss means Richmond are out to a 16-point lead. And the kick in, spoiled by Morris, out to the wing. Freeman dragged towards the boundary line. Oakes, boundary throwing. Of course, just on Lachlan Street. Today is a return home for him of sorts. He plays for Frankston YCW, so that's his local team when he's not with the Tigers VFL. So this is very much home away from home, but unfortunately, no spectators allowed into the venue to come and watch him play. Here's the boundary throw-in. Richmond get first hands on it, but grabbing it away, Josh Newman. Then a kick into the corridor, dangerous turnover. And so it means it's an opportunity for Matt Bartlett, puts it out in front of the leading man, and Richmond, that's where they look at their best, streaming inside the forward 50. Opportunity here to centre it, and the intercept mark has been taken by William Mackay. Very important as well for Frankston. Freeman, sideways to Newman, able to evade Rioli, and now Freeman again, chain of handballs. It's a bit helter-skelter here, trying to keep a cool head as Connor Riley went back into the traffic, and now just a long, hopeful kick. Marks up for someone there to grab it, and staying down, Joel Nathan got the handball, but he was grabbed off it, and so an opportunity now for Ash Cracker. Keeps it moving down into the pocket. Boundary line looms large, and it will go out for a throw in 40 metres around from goal.
That was great to just surge the ball forward by Frankston. They needed that. They needed some link-up play, which they got through Newman as well as Freeman, and to get it down to their forward 50. Hopefully they can capitalise here and kick a goal.
Richmond have got plenty of numbers back. Goal side of this stoppage. Samson Ryan wins the tap down, and immediately Mentha, he's slung, but not illegally, and so fierce tackle laid by Jess McGrath. Mentha gets back to his feet. Jess McGrath playing up from the Gippsland Power, his home team of Moe. Second time we've seen him coming up from the NAB League into the VFL this season. And now we're going to have another ball up. Deep into time on, 28.5 minutes gone. Do Frankston have a goal sneak under this ruck duel here? Ryan gets the tap down, and the clearance from Collier Dawkins goes Richmond's way. Freeman out towards the line, and he rolls over the boundary line rather than try to beat back Rioli and find a way into the field of play. So here's the boundary throw-in. Rendell does the ruck work, but Rioli read it best. Handball into the corridor, and away goes Bailey. Henderson got the leader out in front of him. Street. He's able to get to the ball, and now spins and twists and throws it on the right side into forward 50. Breaks through the hands of Cumberland. Naish went without. Frankston trying to repel here, deep in the back pocket. Joe Lloyd gets it over the top, and now they have to go backwards and sideways. Connor Riley caught on the hop, goes to a 1-on-2. Good contest offered there by McLaughlin. Brought the ball to ground, and so Frankston are the beneficiaries. Bailey Lambert's wiped out there as he marks, and it's going to be enough to hold him up and allow Richmond to get numbers back inside defensive 50. Lambert goes sideways instead. Begley, and now he's looking forward and finds Mackay. Saw a couple of Tigers defenders in front of him, so he squares it to Freeman. His kick is blocked. Look at Rioli. He's following Freeman everywhere in the last 5 minutes of this quarter. Freeman gets another touch, though, and it's Ash Cracker who goes inside forward 50. That's 15 metres, and that is Stern who will line up for goal.
There's great composure there by the Frankston players just in that little scenario, because as we always see time and time again, Richmond, that pressure that come forward, but Frankston were able to just be composed enough to find the out player and then lower their eyes into forward 50 and give them an opportunity to fix their inaccuracy and kick a goal.
Josh Stern was playing for Sydney Uni. His home club is now Noble Park in Victoria, and he has 2 goals in his 4 VFL games this year. Can he kick truly from 48 on a 45-degree angle? Yes, he can. That's quality. And that is Josh Stern putting through Frankston's second. They struck in the first 30 seconds of the game. They may well have struck in the final seconds of the quarter here. 31-minute mark, 2-4-16 trails 4-2-26.
So in his 5 games that he's played, he's kicked 2-2, so now he's kicked 3-2. Inaccuracy on the positive side. But that was really important for them just to get a settler before quarter time. And for Richmond, no one likes a red time goal, so they're seeming to get a little bit fatigued maybe at the end of this quarter. And hopefully the siren comes to stop it.
Centre clearances from these 6-6-6 bounce situations, though, have very much gone Richmond's way. So the late goal brings a new challenge with it right here. Berry and Ryan. Berry gets the tap, but the read from Naish, he was dispossessed. Absolutely vital from Newman. And now trying to steady and get the ball moving forward here is McDonough. He couldn't take clean possession. Eventually a kick inside forward 50 for the Tigers. Beats them all, bouncing at about 35 out from goal. And there is a hold and a free kick for Richmond, and they will turn around and line up. And a few confused faces there, but the umpire had the eagle eyes, and Noah Cumberland, no, he won't get the free kick. We're going to get a replay here just to try and see this hold. Looks like Scanlon's going to line up for goal. Well, I mean, it was...
Doesn't seem like there's much in that, but...
No, just the briefest of grabs of the jumper, but a little bit of pressure here on Jack Scanlon. Just his second VFL game. He was a bit of a teenage sensation at Gisborne in the Bendigo League, and now getting his opportunity a few years on to try and put through a major. Scanlon after the quarter-time siren. He gets great distance. He does not get the accuracy, and it's through for 1 behind. Richmond 4-3-27, leading Frankston 2-4-16. An interesting quarter in which Richmond kicked their 4 goals in a 6-minute burst through the middle of the term. Before we get into some of the numbers, Bonnie Toogood, your thoughts on what we've seen so far?
I think it's been really interesting, the stoppage work and especially centre clearances. It seems that Richmond's on top in that area, and I thought it could have been because of ruck dominance, but in fact the hit-outs are 11 to Frankston and 12 to Richmond. So potentially Frankston's mids are just a little bit flat-footed, and Richmond mids are a bit more on the move and able to get their hands on the footy and get a clean clearance. So I think that's been a huge factor for this first term.
So we'll take a look at some of the goal kickers first. For Richmond, 2 for Ralph Smith, 2 for Cumberland, and then for Frankston, Young and Stern. Welcome back to live pictures from SkyBus Stadium in Frankston. A couple of dog walkers out on this Sunday afternoon in changed COVID conditions here. And, well, perhaps just moseying on past the fence as they do. Quarter-time score here is Frankston 2-4-16, trailing Richmond 4-3-27. Bonnie Toogood, AFLW star. Would you like to take us through some of the leading possession winners in the first quarter?
We've got Freeman and Newman with 9 disposals each, which is no surprise, both accumulating and trying to link up and get some momentum for the Frankston team. And then for Richmond, the top ones are Collier, Dawkins and Martin. No surprise with Martin. He's just such a bull in the contest, and he's getting his hands on it early. It's been a very interesting contest.
What do you think changed the tone of the game? 12 minutes in, we had Frankston well and truly on top, peppering the goal, not able to get value for it, and then Richmond kicked 4 goals in the space of 6 minutes, and then Frankston were able to steady again and then get a late goal just to trim the margin a little bit. But where did you see the game actually change to so dramatically go Richmond's way, the way that it did?
I think Frankston came out hot at the start, and they were able to gain territory and win the territory battle, and then Richmond stepped up in their pressure, and across the board the stats aren't much different, but inaccuracy was a huge killer for Frankston in that term. They had multiple chances for goals. They actually had one less scoring shot than Richmond, but were unable to get the majors on the board and kept kicking behinds.
Some of the players who've impressed, I think we saw Hugo Ralphsmith with his 2 goals providing plenty of life in that forward line. But I'm interested in some of the players that were behind the ball. Not surprised to hear Collier Dawkins is the leading possession winner because he had to do quite a bit of work inside that defensive 50. And we saw Dylan Cook start to win a few possessions out of the back 50 as well. And Joel Nathan playing more of a defensive role. He had some really good sort of hustle plays, spoils, making a contest in a 2-on-2 in a pack situation. So they've had some winners behind the ball, Richmond, that have been able to limit the Frankston's inside 50s to just 2 goals for.
And then people that are willing to, take the game on, like Iga Malesi-Smith, trying to break the lines and surge the ball forward, which have been really great for Richmond in that first quarter, and we'll see if they could do it again in the second.
So what will the tone of the second quarter be? It was Frankston quick out of the blocks and totally in control territorially for the first 10 minutes of the first quarter. Will they be able to do it again to Richmond out of the huddle here? Start of the second term, and it is an 11-point gap in favour of the visiting team. Bounce down then. Berry advantaged by the bend of the ball. He taps it, but not to his team's advantage, and Collier Dawkins trying to resume where he left off at the end of the first. He was scragged off the ball, though, and so away come Frankston, and getting the kick away to clear and work it forward was Will Mackay, and now holding the ball means that it's going to be a Frankston free kick for Cracker, and he goes inboard. Tom Small kicks it to a pack, and a good contested mark coming over the top. Frankston looking to move it on quickly inside forward 50 through Newman. It's knocked away from Begley. So at the top of 50, Newman gets another chance, bangs it on the boot, and it's intercepted there. Good to see Jackson Voss back on the ground as well after picking up what looks like a foot injury in the first quarter, but he's been able to walk it off, and now he's out there, even though Richmond have overcooked this and given possession away for a boundary throw, and Egg Malesi-Smith with the last touch inside forward 50.
Almost a repeat of what happened in the first quarter with Sampson then giving the hands to Egg Malesi-Smith and accidentally making a mistake.
So boundary throw-in, deep in attack for the Dolphins. And down at the front, snap around the corner is immediately blocked away. Bailey Lambert unable to get any elevation on the ball. Berry brings it to ground. Arthurson. There's a throw. It's going against Bailey. So Richmond get the free kick. Bailey Henderson coming away with the Sharon. He goes into the corridor. Risky kick, but he knew what he was doing. Egg Malesi-Smith looping a handball over to the halfback flank. Neon, that's a tough one to control for him. Giving possession up. Newman now. And he's able to ride a tackle, throws it on the boot. There's only one man ahead of the ball, and the runners are going back after it. Lambert gets there, Nuon. He's determined to make amends. Came in, made a contest, and Richmond now have the numbers. And Egg Malesi-Smith, just a tumbler, throws it on the boot to get it out of defensive 50. Almost a mark there. And has it been paid? It has not. So it falls. But look at the defensive hustle here from Bigot and Nuon.
How was that? Both players just wanting the footy, and that's what we love, that hard-hitting contest. Both players unafraid.
Newman went to ground, just lost his footing at the key moment, and that invited on the pressure. But now Voss is just going to bomb away inside forward 50. First hands on the ball for Rendell. Is he paid the mark? He's not. It's going to be a boundary throw-in. Might have had a claim for chopping the arms, but not to be.
The captain, Newman, seems to just be willing his side at the moment. He's had 4 or 5 disposals in the first few minutes of this quarter. He's just wanting to get his team up and about and get in front.
Boundary throw in then. And immediately into traffic, and a big tackle laid by McDonough. So the ball is not coming out. Is the umpire hatching it? No, eventually calls for a ball up when they wait for that long. Sometimes it is because they're going to call holding the ball. We've got an injury to a Frankston man. Bailey Lambert is staying down here, and we might have a delay as he gets assessed right at the scene of where we're going to have this ball up. He looks in a bit of distress as well. Team medics are straight out to him, and he's in a lot of pain. So let's take a look at this replay, Bonnie.
There he is getting the tackle.
Left ankle?
I think it potentially was left ankle, maybe getting caught under him in the tackle.
So we're going to have a bit of a break here. They're not calling for the stretcher just yet. They're just assessing him.
Or maybe they're assessing the knee.
Could be any number of places where the pressure was felt most aggressively. You can see there he's still throwing his head back in pain. They are looking at his right ankle.
It's never good when you see a player getting down in a tackle and their ankle gets caught under them. I've had a similar injury to that. The forbidden word, the syndesmosis, but we don't want to, Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, it's his right ankle that buckles. You see it roll in on itself there. So he's going to be assisted off here by the trainers. Not sure how much weight he can put on it.
It's a big loss for Frankston. He's a really great player. He has the potential to kick multiple goals in a game as that small forward, and that is a huge loss for them.
Well, they're going to have to wait until he is carried all the way off here. It wouldn't make sense to restart the game with him still being assisted off the field. Bailey Lambert this season, 14 goals, 15 possessions a game. They are going to restart play with him still being carried off. So they're a man down until they can get someone through the interchange gate here. Frankston, can Richmond capitalise in the meantime? It's going to be a free kick going their way for a high tackle. And is it 50 as well? Controlling umpire here is saying, get up, let him free. Eventually they untangle themselves, and it's going to be 50 metres. Lucky not to be 100 there as the byplay continued seemingly for an inordinate amount of time. Garrett McDonough takes his 50 metres, and now will look to keep running. He runs straight into trouble, but he still gets his kick away. Long bomb inside forward 50. Frankston first to the ball. Hiscock brought it down. And now at ground level, who's going to come up with clean hands? It's going to be Brolich. And so now Freeman is on the end of this kick here. And they're able to get themselves out of the initial danger, but they've got to use it effectively. Well done there by Will Mackay to find Freeman. His kick to a contest. Newman hit the ground hard. Egmalesi Smith right there with him. And it is eventually extracted by McLaughlin. Bigo and Yuan came over the top. Joel Nathan sniffing around for the ball. Rendell given away. Coming back with Bailey Henderson here. One crack at it, a second one here, but he's wrapped up in a big tackle from Ash Cracker. And it means that Richmond aren't progressing the ball. So a good contested game. And right now it breaks even in the contest. It's still Richmond by 11 points. And we haven't had a change to the quarter time score in 6.5 minutes. Up goes the ball up. And through comes Rioli, just made space where there was none and keeps it moving. Henderson, chain of handballs, and Martin moves it out to Morris. And he shovels it on to Collier-Dawkins. Riley Collier-Dawkins, that was a hospital ball though. Rioli again asking a lot of him this time. Oh, trip, says the umpire. The tackle just slipped. And so Morris Rioli is going to kick it short. Play on called, not 15 metres for Collier-Dawkins. That one is 15, but it wasn't marked on the end of it by Street. He has to go back in and tackle the ball to rip it free. Bit of a blind handball gives possession away. Rendell and Frankston, can they break into open space? Mentha, 1-on-2, being followed by Neon and also Nathan and the Richmond Tigers. Look at that, very clever from Big O and Neon. He almost just dinked it up to himself. Very, very smart football, and now Richmond get into open space. Chain of handballs here. Martin and now Rioli. And here's an opportunity for Street. Bouncing at the top of 50. McDonough just trying to will it forward by any means necessary. Frankston trying to resist. Street again, dispossessed. And the umpire says, holding the ball. It wasn't a clean disposal. And there's a little bit of byplay afterwards, but the free kick is going Frankston's way.
Positive signs by Richmond there. You can see how much they want to use the corridor to open up that 50 when they're looking for an inside forward 50. So good for Frankston to shut it down, but that they look explosive when they want to take it through the middle.
This is Liam Hiscock on the half-back flank. Kicks it up to true wing position. Nyon breaks through the hands of Martin. And so Rendell claims the ball for Frankston, and they're on the move here. Mitch Cox takes a bounce. Sends a handball over the top. I don't think he wanted to unleash from 50 on his left side there, and it was a bit hard to kick off the instep. And so now coming back the other way, it's going to be Dylan Cook who has possession for Richmond.
Unfortunately, Frankston had no one to kick to there, so he didn't want to launch from 50, but then he couldn't hit up a lead either, which Frankston need to sort out their forward structure so they can at least have someone coming at him so he can hit someone.
Lowton into the middle. Martin continues to rack up the possessions. He wants to switch from right side to left, and he does so by kicking across the centre square. You don't see that kick too often. Patrick Naish, he's going to make it work. Inside forward 50 to a 1-on-2, and Cumberland was caught out initially and then went and tried to pick the pocket of Max Williams. Couldn't do so. Raking handball outside of 50. McDonough shrugged one tackle, throws it on his left boot. It almost fell kindly, breaking through the hands of Scanlon, and so the ball is there to be won at the top of 50 here for Frankston as they try to defend, and it's going to be a ball up, but Scanlon, a little one grab, but not able to hold on to the mark.
You can see Richmond always want to look to switch or bring it inboard. Matter of fact, they had Sampson out here at the top of the 50.
And just the picture-in-picture, sorry, Bonnie, the little clever dink to himself there from Bago and Neon.
Very clever by him. But as I was saying, yeah, at the top of the 50, they had Sampson out here on the wing, but they chose to go inboard and try drive it through the middle of the ground, which is a clear directive and something that they're continually working on.
Free kick for a ruck block. And even though Rendell protests his innocence, Richmond will be lining up for goal. And Samson Ryan, who has been very good in the VFL this season, is going to be taking the set shot. 15 goals, 7 in 2021. We've had 10 minutes of stalemate to start this second quarter. No change to the quarter time score. Samson Ryan will have to go 50 metres. And he handed it off. Naish goes long to the pocket, and we still don't have a score in this quarter because it breaks off hands out for a boundary throw-in. I'm surprised he didn't line up the set shot. I'm
surprised too, because he's been really accurate in front of goal, as you said, 15-7 this year, and I would have backed him in. I assume he's got a big long lever to get the distance, but Naish was calling for it, and he thought it was a good idea.
So boundary throw-in instead. Scanlon doing the ruck work against Rendell. It's all Frankston at the fall of the ball, though. Williams off his hands and eventually cleared away by Rendell. Bouncing at the top of the 50 and riding the tackle, able to get his hands free. Bartlett in the end. And so Richmond now back to the hot spot. 20 metres out and tugged off his kick there. Oakes unable to get the shot at goal. It's still at the top of the goal square, though. Who's going to take the risk? Eventually, possession is taken, and of course, a gang tackle inevitably follows. So now 20 metres out from goal in the corridor. All hands on deck here for Frankston in defence. Rendell and Scanlon do the ruck work. Scanlon got front position, got the ball down to Cumberland, and that is going to bend through just for the single point. And so it is the first score of the second quarter. It's taken 11 and a half minutes, and Richmond are 4-4-28, leading Frankston 2-4-16.
It's what you need in a forward stoppage like that. You need someone moving through the contest. Ooh, that was front on contact.
Yeah, Ralph Smith gave himself up immediately and apologised. No arguing on that one. And so Josh Newman appears to be checking his mouthguard and his teeth to make sure everything's okay.
That's why we wear them.
He'll be receiving 50 metres as we get the picture-in-picture replay here. And again, credit to Ralph Smith. He gave himself up. It's not like that was malicious. It was just late. And so play continues without any further retribution. Williams. Kick to a big pack of players, off hands. First to react, Mackay, but his handball is immediately sharked through the hands of Egmalesi Smith, though. Neon Shows a bit of agility to jump around one tackle and keep the ball moving. Clever tap on by Oakes to get it outside defensive 50. Scanlon, one grab, two grab. There is now a scuffle. Ralph Smith's got himself into a fight with Williams. They break up because the ball is live and there to be won. Through the middle, the Tigers go. It's one out Cumberland here inside the forward 50. He out points Brolich and runs into an open goal. And so Cumberland has got 3 and Richmond kicked the first goal of the second quarter, 5-4-34. Leading Frankston 2-4-16, and the umpire is whistling because I think the spot fire between Williams and Ralph Smith has resulted in a Richmond free kick, which they will take seemingly instead of having a centre bounce.
So instead of the centre bounce, they've got this free kick and the goal is still 1. That was really great. Cumberland was in the driver's seat there. He was able to just manoeuvre Brolich wherever he could to get it out the back, and he did a really good job.
3 goals for Cumberland, 5-4-34. Plays 2-4-16, and instead of a centre bounce, it is the free kick for Ralph Smith. So Williams in the end overzealous trying to fly the flag. And a couple of chip kicks find Dylan Cook. From 55, sets it right into the corridor for the Flyers, and a big spoil comes over the back. Richmond first to react though. Lowton, now Rioli, back inside forward 50 with a worm burner, and even though it was 2 grabbed, it is going to be another shot for goal coming up. And it's Cam Olden who was on the end of the pass there from Nathan Oakes. And Richmond now trying to extend to a match-high lead.
Great lowering of the eyes there by Oakes, and Olden was the beneficiary of that. Frankston was set up deep, so a big long kick in wasn't going to help. So that was a beautiful, beautiful awareness there.
Cam Olden, 4 goals, 1 this season, trying to continue his very accurate campaign in front of goals, and he does. 5 goals, 1 for the season for Cam Olden from Leon Gather, and it's the first time he's played VFL since May 22. So he's been out of the team for the best part of 2 months. Great to see him back, in fact 9 weeks, so he'll be thrilled about that, putting through a major, and it is now 6-4-40 to 2-4-16.
Here's just a replay, Richmond coming through the middle of the ground, which is so hard to stop as they just kept surging it forward, and that's for the defenders, for the Frankston defenders, that's really hard to defend because you just get caught out as we see here, and Cumberland was able just to be in the driver's seat and manoeuvre Brolich out the way and run into an open goal.
Now, I don't know if this is the danger zone, Bonnie, but in the first quarter, between minutes 12 and 18, they kicked 4 goals. Now they've kicked goals in minutes 13 and 14. So it seems as though Frankston are hanging for the first 10 minutes of the quarter, and then Richmond, once they crack the game, they absolutely cash in. So they've kicked 2 goals in 2 minutes, and they get another centre clearance here. Are they going to get another run on? Bit of a fumble, but eventually Oakes takes possession, just shovels it. Wouldn't even call that a handball in the end. Helping him out was Lowton, and coming through to intercept Newman. Throws it on the boot. Bit of a directionless kick, though. Morris. Oh, great tackle. He's slung off the ball. And so Mackay rips it over the top. They've got runners ahead of the ball here, Frankston. Can they execute? Riley is run down. Holding the ball, Connor Riley gone for all money, and what a fantastic chase down tackle it was on that occasion from Joel Nathan.
That was a certain goal for Frankston, and wow, that is a great, great chase down tackle by Nathan there. Exactly what you want. The coach will be pretty happy with that.
And textbook as well, getting the replay there, not to push him in the back. Superb from Joel Nathan, and now Ralph Smith, he's wrapped up and dumped, and the umpire says holding the ball. Are they giving advantage? They're not. And so it will be a Frankston free kick to be taken by Mitch Cox. Joel Nathan, he's not hard to miss with the frizzy perm, which we agreed was his hairstyle pre-game, Bonnie, but he's been fantastic with some of his defensive work.
He has been really great. They've seemed to have a really good backline structure, Richmond, and if it's not Nathan, it's Egamalesi Smith. You know, they've just got a great structure down there, and it's making it really hard for Frankston to get any, good ball forward.
On this occasion, Morris got first hands, and then the ball was ripped away. Mitch Cox, and then ball has been intercepted at the top of defensive 50. Kick round the corner to a 1-on-2, but made to work. Good grab by Lowton. So he springs back to his feet. Tigers already 4 goals clear, starting to threaten to extend the gap. Rioli takes the mark. It is this mid-stage of the quarter which has been Frankston's weakness. And now Nathan Oakes blocked as soon as he took the ball. Williams did well to intercept it. Voss, handball over the top, out in front of Newman. He has to double back, though. He's being chased the whole way. So Voss gets another possession, just a tumbling inverted torp. And it's been marked by Morris behind the ball. Egmalesi Smith, you just flagged him a moment ago, Bonnie, about how important he is to Richmond, getting it out of the back 50. And here's Scanlon. He's dumped late. It's not going to be 50. And credit there to Hiscock, using every trick in the book to hold him up. Handball off to Naish. He has to go sideways. And the kick is made to work. And so Ralph Smith offers a lead, which is ignored. Richmond have got a very open forward line at the moment. Most of the players are crowded just outside the 50-metre arc. Now they dip back. Oh, huge fly coming from Cumberland. Unrealistic attempt. He did the Trent Crode. And it will be a free kick down in defence for Berry.
They have no issue just changing the angles outside of 50 to make sure that they're not just blasting it away. Ooh, we've got Rioli here.
And Rioli sniffing for the ball. He's not able to take clean possession. Bowled over in the end. And a little bit sore as well. Hopefully he's okay and just winded. And now Frankston with possession, ripped forward. Good hard work by Cox. Chain of handballs will find Voss. Totally open forward line though. There's no one home. Cracker will look up and see no one to kick to. So they break forward inside 50. And the field general, Stephen Morris, gets back, but he's not able to stop that mark there. And so will they steady and take the shot for goal here, Frankston? It is Connor Riley who will turn around and try to kick a much-needed goal. He has 5-6 this season, Bonnie, so we know he's got an eye for goal.
Great composure by Cracker there. He looked up and he had both his forwards streaming back to goal, but the Richmond players were right beside them, so he had to wait for someone to tick up. And we had Riley doing exactly that, which was really important in that moment.
Bad news for the Tigers. Rioli is walking under his own steam with a little bit of a limp to the bench. Hopefully something he can be assessed and continue in the game with. In the meantime, it's a tumbling kick. Has it got the distance? No, but it's socked through. And on the goal line, McLaughlin puts through a much-needed major. I think there's going to be a conference here between goal and field umpire. No, they've paid it. It's a major. And so Brodie McLaughlin kicks the goal. It was a tumbling ball from Connor Riley, but he was first to react on the goal line. 3-4-22 to 6-4-40.
It almost came off his boot and helicoptered towards the goal. But as a defender, what you got to do is kill the ball, and the Richmond were unable to do that. And Riley was ready to go and could kick it through.
So 3-4-22, now trailing 6-4-40. 3 majors as we tick up to time on of this second quarter.
McLaughlin, I apologise.
Here's another look
Riley
at it.
Kicked the helicopter.
Yeah.
There it is.
Little toe poke, got it through on the goal line. No question about it. And so 6-6-6. Everyone is set up in position and we're ready to go. Berry. Samson Bryan came in to challenge him, but it's going to be Voss getting it to Newman. Can Frankston load up for 2 in a row perhaps? Tumbling ball inside forward 50 was well read by Street and immediately repelled with Joel Nathan. He kicks it out in front of Bailey Henderson, and Henderson, running with the flight, is able to tail onto the ball and take a good grab. Henderson gets it to Scanlon. Scanlon some 70 metres from goal, 2 solid kicks. Cumberland offers the lead. Scanlon is going to try to go to him, and instead he picks out Freeman, who planted himself in the corridor and is able to take the intercept mark. A little bit of sun to deal with for the team kicking to the right of screen at the moment. It's just come out from behind a cloud. You can see the shadows getting a bit longer. Short, risky kick, but marked by Tyler Young. And so Frankston now with a bit of breathing space to come out at defensive 50. Cracker didn't take the mark, though, on the end of Lloyd's kick. Goes in. Freeman helps him out, making amends. And so Frankston get another opportunity. Brolich is going to find Max Williams, and he says, slow it down, everyone calm. Still plenty of time to go in the quarter. Only 21 and a half ticked over. But Frankston have got a foothold back in the game, having steadied after a couple of quick Tiger goals in the mid-stages of the quarter, and that is a very good mark from Rendell. He gets up, takes his kick, and buries his option. Crummers at the front, good tackle on Voss, able to strip him of the ball. Egmalesi Smith, first to react, and now bouncing into the hands and through the hands of Hiscock, but still a chance there. Mackay is dragged down, caught holding the ball by Naish, and it's a free kick for the Tiger.
Unrelenting pressure by Tigers. Even if they're caught out, they've got someone chasing to make sure they can stop it.
Going on. running around the right side of the ground for Richmond. Puts it up into a contest, knocked off the hands of Street. And away comes Hiscock. Cracker went with one hand, still able to control it at ground level, but then popped it straight back to the tallest man on the field. Well, second tallest behind Samson Ryan. And Neon drills it into the middle. A few tight players out there, so are Richmond going to run into a bit of open space? Yes, they are. They've got some gaps to exploit. Nathan Oakes now. And Frankston able to respond and man up. Oakes. He just prods it short. They love this sideways kick through the corridor, the centre, Bonnie, but it's not going up the ground, it's going across the ground.
If they don't see anything on, they're willing to just change the angles just to try open their forward line somehow.
And it hasn't worked on this occasion. Rendell, true centre-half forward position, is going to pop it to the top of 50, and a sliding mark is taken. Very nicely done by Josh Begley, and even though there was late contact from his Tiger opponent, good sportsmanship. He wants to pass it on. I think the umpire is going to say, bring it back, and Newman won't get to line up a little bit closer to goal. Begley would need his best, 19-9 so far this season. But we saw from the last kick by Connor Riley that the ball isn't carrying as well as you might hope for the long set shot down to the bay end of the ground.
That was a very similar scenario again. Rendell looked up and had his forwards streaming backwards and had to wait for someone to tick back up at him and hit someone out in front.
So Josh Begley, of course on the Essendon list from 2017 until last year. Here comes the set shot for goal. Breaks out to the right to get that little extra meterage, and he sails it through. A beautiful set shot, and Begley brings Frankston a little bit closer once again. 4-4-28, trails 6-4-40.
Really crucial goal there by Begley. He's such a strong body and so powerful, so him coming out on a lead, and he did take a good sliding mark, but that's very hard to stop for a defender. But yeah, again, they've got that set up where Frankston's forwards set up quite high up the field, so that they do realise when they win they have to stream back and then create space for them to lead back into, which we've seen on 2 occasions now, and maybe that might be the tactic they go with moving forward.
As we see the replay there, he knew it was good straight off the boot. Last 10 minutes, Richmond no score, Frankston the 2 goals. So they have now got the arm wrestle going back in their favour. They still trail by 12 points though, 25 minutes into the quarter. Can they get any closer before the long break here? Berry wins the tap against Ryan this time. And Riley, scragged. No free kick. Is the umpire going to ping him? He is. Naish will get the free kick for holding the ball. And I think Connor Riley thought he was taken high there, and maybe that's why he stopped trying to move at pace, and all of a sudden he had 2 Tigers wrapping him up. Free kick then for Naish. Crowded centre-half forward area from about 30 metres to goal. No one home. Here comes the kick then. This is the pack of players. Oh, huge climb! Nearly for Max Williams. That would have been a contender to challenge for Mark of the Year. Something about SkyBus Stadium. They must just love the high atmosphere. That was nearly a superb grab.
He was the defender out the back, and it just sat for him. Oh, just if he'd clunked it. Oh, that definitely a contender for Mark of the Year that would have been.
Max Williams, not to be. Free kick instead. That would have been quite the highlight. And so a turnover from across goal, and that is a mark for Scanlon. So costly. Frankston had had a good 10 minutes. They kept the Tigers off the scoreboard, but the defensive switch didn't factor in the long arms of Scanlon, who has taken the intercept grab.
He almost had the perfect teasing distance where it's like just teasing them into kicking it there, and then he was able to close down really quickly. Great effort by Scanlon, and just a coach killer for Frankston, that is.
Missed a set shot after the quarter time siren. This is for his first VFL goal. In comes Scanlon, and he kicks truly, and his Tiger teammates will get around him because he's forced a crucial turnover, and Jack Scanlon now has his first VFL goal.
You love to see it, don't you, when the whole team gets around you. It's a really special moment for him, his first VFLW goal. But yeah, just got that teasing distance. A bit too casual there by the Frankston backman, and then great effort to then recover the ball, and then it forced into a free kick.
And at the 27-minute mark of the quarter, that one hurts because it's back to a 3-goal margin. And Frankston, of course, have only kicked 4 for the game. So it's not quite a low-scoring contest, probably just average, this one.
They've had 2 weeks off, getting back used to it all again.
Wonder if Frankston will have a burst in them at some point in the second half. Right now, Richmond have had the answers, even after being kept off the scoreboard for about 13 minutes through the mid-stages of the quarter. Frankston get the clearance, but it's wide. Setting himself, Cook gets it to Ralph Smith. He's taken off the ball by Voss, and holding the ball is the call. So Jackson Voss gets the reward. Square ball intercepted again. This time they get a little bit luckier. Tom Small able to retrieve. Still a very hot footy there, though. Newman taken off it. And now here are the prime movers. Freeman coming in to help out. And he's able to find a teammate, so Frankston can turn and go. Riley into the forward pocket. Big spoil coming from behind by Ralph Smith, and he crashes to ground. And at the fall of the ball, you can see it's hot in the clinches. Voss got a handball in there. Now 360 tackle. Umpire is going to reward it too. And the siren sound, so even though Frankston were deep in attack, they're not able to add it to their score. They did have some good stages during that term, but the last goal of the quarter keeps Richmond at arm's length, 7-4-46, leading Frankston 4-4-28. The margin was 11 at quarter time. It is now 18 at halftime. Before we get into some of the numbers, AFLW star Bonnie Toogood, your thoughts on the second term?
It doesn't seem that quarter that Richmond were able to extend that lead. It was still such an arm wrestle between the two teams. I think Newman in his 100th game is just trying to will his side over the line. He's got 19 disposals at halftime, which is a great performance by him, but just can't get it that cleanliness into their forward 50 because their forwards are so high that they're just having to prop and stop at outside 50, and they're struggling to get good looks at goal. But it's an arm wrestle.
So goal kickers, Noah Cumberland has 3 goals, 1. Ralph Smith 2, Scanlon and Olden singles for Richmond, while for Frankston all singles, McLaughlin 1 goal, 3, Begley, Stern and Young. Disposal leaders on the ground for Richmond, Naish 17 possessions, 12 kicks and 5 handballs. Martin with 14 touches, Henderson 13, Collier Dawkins 12, and Egmalesi, Smith and Street with 10 apiece. While for Frankston, 19 possessions for Newman, 16 kicks as well and 3 handballs. Freeman has 13 touches, 6 and 7. Cox has 10, and then all single figures thereafter. So, Bonnie, final thought before we go into the halftime break.
It seems that Richmond is able to, use the whole width of the ground and try change angles and get the Frankston defence moving, which is opening up leading lanes and allowing the forwards to be a little bit more creative with their movement. So the Richmond halfbacks have been really crucial in this game. They've been really steady. Ogamalesi Smith has been just phenomenal as that link player to get the ball moving forward. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Frankston forwards kind of can counteract that.
So there are the Tigers going into the rooms, 18-point leaders at halftime. You're watching KO Sports coverage of the VFL. Welcome back to live pictures from SkyBus Stadium in Frankston. Half-time almost finished and about to start the third quarter in this VFL clash where Richmond 7-4-46 lead Frankston 4-4-28. Couple of important injury updates. The good news for Richmond is Maurice Rioli has come out and done the warm-up for the start of the second half. But AFLW star Bonnie Toogood, we have no sighting of Bailey Lambert of Frankston after his rolled ankle in the second quarter.
Which is a big loss for Frankston too. He hadn't been too impactful, I guess, before he got injured. However, he is capable of, pulling out goals when needed, and that's a huge loss for Frankston as they are struggling in that department at the moment.
So the shadows will get a little bit longer. It'll make it a little bit trickier attacking the right of screen where you will have to look into the sun. And that is the end that Richmond will be attacking in this third quarter. They've separated themselves by 3 goals. Do Frankston have a response? They came into today with a 6-4 record. Richmond 3-1-5. But it's the Tigers who've had the answers so far. and they've kicked their goals in spurts, which makes them dangerous as we start the second half. Ryan and Berry go back to work on their ruck duel, and Berry gets a little dinking kick, and then Newman make that his 20th possession of the game with the first handball of the third quarter. Freeman inside forward 50, and a good intercept mark coming through. And it is once again the impressive Joel Nathan who makes the intercept, and Egmalesi Smith has been there to sweep around and get the ball outside a defensive 50 seemingly every time there's an opportunity for the Tigers to come out of defence.
He's always there looking for a handball receiver. We see again, he just loves to be being that surge player out of defence.
Kick, though, is intercepted, so not what he was hoping for. And now Frankston again will load up and go forward. Rendell is the target, and he's caught in a 1-on-2. Clever by Neon, just to guard the space and allow Egmalesi Smith to sweep in behind and take the intercept mark. Naish spilt the beans, but he's still able to recover in time. He was taking on the lumbering ruckman in Bailey, so he was able to escape his clutches and get it on to Will Martin, one of the more prolific ball winners for the Tigers in the first half. And Samson Ryan now marks on the half-back flank. Towering 206 centimetre tall ruckman of Richmond, and he boots this one the full 50 metres up the field. It's going to break kindly as well. Cumberland tried to shovel out a handball. Rioli working at ground level. And now contested ball squirts out. Looked throw-ish, but umpire lets them play. Naish wrapped up and calling play on, and then eventually a ball up. And I think the umpires have been willing to give every contest as long as possible for the ball to squirt out in the first half before they decide to eventually call for a stoppage, which is what's happened here. Berry gets the tap down, eventually rips a handball free. Egmalesi Smith knew not to take possession because the tacklers were on his hammer. Street able to get that left foot going. It's bending the wrong way though, and in spite of some calls for deliberate, they were ambitious. It's going to be a boundary throw.
I think Richmond just look a lot more composed when the ball is in dispute. They're able to, evade tackles and make the right decision, which Frankston have really struggled in that first half especially to do that. They just seemed a little bit rattled because of the pressure that Richmond was applying.
So, boundary throw in. Berry gets the tap into the corridor, and he's helped out there. Riley, but he took on the tackler, tried to fend off and got wrapped up holding the ball. And so it means it's a Richmond free kick going the way of Dylan Cook. It's probably in the best six in that first half for Richmond. Cook inside forward 50, right into traffic though. And, well, I haven't learnt my lesson from the first half with the commentator's curse. Freeman takes the intercept mark, pops it over the top, over the head of Menther. He tackled the man without the ball, didn't realise it had left the vicinity. Holding the man, free kick advantage taken quickly. And now Street using that left foot to guide the ball into the pocket for Scanlon. Didn't mark it, still able to hold on. Goes for the underground handball. The whistle's going though, and it's because the boundary line won out. And we'll have a throw in 35 metres around from goal.
We've harped on it a little bit throughout this game, but Richmond's just courage to be able to switch the ball and open the other side of the ground has been really great for them.
Players run inside 50 at the opposite end of the ground, as is the VFL rule. And we're away here, ripped out of the ruck immediately by Tyler Young, but it was blocked off the boot. And now trying to find a way forward, looked like a high tackle, but the umpire says holding the ball instead. And so for the second time in this quarter, Connor Riley has been trapped holding the ball, and we've only got 3.5 minutes. And he protests, but he's going to have to hand the Sharon over eventually, lest he give away 50. And so Derek Egmalesi Smith, 2 solid kicks from goal, looking into the sun. He's got leaders breaking into both pockets. He goes into the corridor instead, and that's where Frankston had the numbers, but they don't have the mark. And so the ball hits the deck, and another whistle. Free kick happy at the start of this third quarter. Freeman is going to get the clean possession, and he's able to guide it out of defensive 50. And now they're on here with Brodie McLaughlin. Didn't want the front and centre man, though. He ignores Stern, turns and goes for distance. Berry, the ruckman, looking into the sun. Spoiled once. Joel Nathan brings it to ground. Cracker there, crashing in on Nathan. He's not able to shovel it on. Berry back in, sock it away. Henderson gets it up towards the boundary. Not close enough, though. It's all Frankston, Hiscock, and now Freeman. Chain of handballs, and Freeman Decision time. He's going to go across the defensive side of the centre square, and it comes unstuck. Bailey Henderson is there. He's wrapped up in the tackle, and Loughnan was able to at least stop his progress and allow Williams to come in and help him out. And Frankston, they're not out of the jungle just yet because there are tigers everywhere. Dylan Cook with the intercept. And so Richmond now inside forward 50, high, looking for Ralph Smith. Got two hands to the ball but couldn't complete the mark. 45 metres out from goal. It's a hot footy at the moment. Big tackle laid. Ripping to the ground, Cumberland. And it's going to be a ball up. It was scrappy at times there and helter-skelter at others.
Absolutely. It seems that when people see Freeman out in space, they just give it to him and it might not be the best option and they just need to, slow it down and have a little bit more composure.
Ruck work done by Connor Riley. Straight back to Richmond hands, though. 40 metres out from goal in the corridor. Overrunning the ball, Mentha. And again, the gang tackle is laid. Jess McGrath this time going in and tying the ball up. Richmond in attack. No addition to the score in 5.5 third quarter minutes. Samson Ryan crashes in late to the ruck contest. Ball is being paddled forward and now eventually moved on by Freeman. Mentha ran into the tackle. I suspect this might be her. No, not holding the ball. Play on. It's spilt clear at the last second. Morris extracts it. Quick 1-2 with Collier Dawkins. Just a grubbing kick up to the top of 50. Freeman's brought his own footy to the third quarter, but it's all in the defensive 50. Can he get forward and punish a little bit more? Right now, defence is on the mind of Frankston. Mitch Cox out to the half-back flank, and the mark is taken by Brolich. So things slow down and Frankston can take a deep breath, and Freeman again. You're right about him just commanding the ball, Bonnie. It seems as though they're always looking for him, Frankston, whenever they're in possession. And now this releasing kick from Tyler Young is a good one. And he finds Josh Stern. One out through the back. Egmalesi Smith has been caught out of position. And Brodie McLaughlin wouldn't have been his man anyway due to the height disparity. And similar to the first quarter, McLaughlin is lining up with a teasing 30-metre set shot directly in front.
Hopefully he can be a little bit more accurate this time, but that kick to him was beautiful because it made Egmalesi Smith have to turn over his shoulder, so he actually lost sight of the ball, and that just allowed for an easy mark. Hopefully he can convert and, close this margin.
1 goal 3 and 1 out of bounds on the full today for Brodie McLaughlin, looking for his second goal of the game. He made the goal umpire work, but he will salute. And Frankston get the first goal of the third quarter, and they get it against the run of play after breaking the Richmond shackles. 5-4-34 trails 7-4-46.
He was happy about that one. A few fist pumps there, probably fist pumps to the behinds he'd kicked earlier in the day. A settling goal for Frankston. They were able to switch the ball, change the angles, and then a great kick in and a great mark by McLaughlin and converted, which is what they needed.
He becomes Frankston's only multiple goal kicker as a result. And he mixed his misses up. He had one to the right, one to the left. He had the difficult check side, which he kicked skinny, and then he had the out of bounds on the full, which he hooked from right to left. So he had a whole variety, and his only goal until that one was a little toe poke off the line. So maybe his confidence is up now, having been the main avenue to score, albeit not to goal, for Frankston today. Secondary bounce here in the middle. Berry got the ruck tap, but Richmond got the Sharon. And then giving it away, though, with an errant handball was Oakes. Frankston, look at Egmalesi Smith, just made space where there was none, cutting through a big pack of players. Collier Dawkins, he hangs it up. Good contest by Loughnan, but it still falls kindly to Dylan Cook, and he goes inside forward 50 to Hugo Ralph Smith. And Ralph Smith, we were actually surprised looking at the stats at halftime, Bonnie. It feels like he's been a lot more prominently involved in this game, than his numbers would suggest. Yeah,
he's kicked 2 goals and only had 4 disposals, which I was shocked at looking at because I thought he had been popping up everywhere. He's such an impact player when he does have the footy.
So this is for his 3rd goal of the game. He'll have to go 46 metres. Hugo Ralph Smith. It's going to fall against the post. It looked like it went goal side. Yes, it did. No touch. The major is through. And Richmond get the instant reply to Frankston. And they go to 8-4-52, leading Frankston 5-4-34.
It's an absolutely huge goal by the pick 46 in the 2019 draft from the Sandy Dragons. But that was great by Richmond. Again, composure when the ball's in dispute and then able to lower the eyes and hit Ralph Smith on a lead coming straight at him. And then to kick that, which is a big kick from, 48 metres on that angle into the end that seems the ball tends to helicopter a little bit, but he kicked it flush and went through.
Hugo Ralph Smith last played in the AFL against West Coast in round 13, which was July 13, so a little while ago now. Probably still the best game of the home and away season, that one, but he's been out of the AFL team for some weeks now, and he's kicked 3 goals today. Centre bounce, and clearance coming from Newman, tumbling inside 50 ever so briefly. Morris repelling. Egmalesi Smith overran the ball under pressure from Cracker. And it's going to be a boundary throw in the half-forward flank area. Shadows continue to get longer. The sun was behind a cloud for the first quarter and a bit, and ever since it's ducked out, we've now had players having to squint whenever they look up the field to the bay end. Handball over the top. Brolich will turn into the centre. Freeman again in space. He's not being followed particularly closely in this third quarter. Richmond win the ball regardless. Street raking handball out to the boundary line, which does win out, and it will be another throw in on the wing. So 11 minutes gone and just an exchange of goals in this third quarter so far. And again, like the first 2 quarters, Bonnie, this is where Richmond now become dangerous. Sort of between the 12 and 20 minute mark is where they've kicked 6 of their 8 goals in this game.
When they kick goals, they like to kick them in a flurry.
And so this is now, again, where Frankston have to be particularly vigilant about not letting Richmond build what would almost certainly be a match-winning lead if they get a little streak going here. Boundary throw-in. At the front of the pack, it is away for Frankston, bouncing inside forward 50. McLaughlin unable to retrieve the ball. Handball over the top, a good one coming away from Henderson. And now Egmalesi Smith. He's going to feed it back. Joel Nathan was sold into trouble, and it's a throw. Play on quickly. Begley round the corner. It's a team lifter. Josh Begley snaps it through, and after giving the ball away, holding the ball, it was a costly turnover because Begley goaled in the blink of an eye.
That's at times been the story of Richmond's day, where it's just a simple skill execution comes off a little behind the player there, and that's how the pressure got into his head. And look, Begley, to take the advantage is bold, but then to finish it off, it's all worth it in the end.
Second goal of the game for Begley, up to 21 goals for the season now. And again, the gap is 12 points. So it's Frankston that kick the major, and they stay within touching distance. If you've only joined us in the second half, we suspect that due to an ankle injury, a rolled ankle, we're not sure the severity of it, that Bailey Lambert won't be back for the rest of the day for the Dolphins. Up in the middle, Berry wins the tap. Mackay, umpire's whistle goes. Free kick, no advantage. Mackay says, give it to me. I want a proper free kick over the mark here. So he gets the chance to survey the options. He's going to go wide to the half-forward flank, and that's where he finds Connor Riley. Players shouting for the ball. Riley over the head of Rendell, but he's front and centre, the big man to follow up, wrapped up in a tackle by Joel Nathan. Egmalesi Smith sharked the ball, now has to lay a tackle of his own, and it doesn't appear to be coming out of there. Wrapped up by all concerned. And the man who started the passage of play, Mackay, is the one who gives it back to the umpire at the end of it all. Frankston trying to close back within single figures. Brolich, immediately wrapped up in the tackle, will have another bounce. Feels like these phases of play are crucial to the overall arm wrestle that has been this game. Berry. Not a decisive tap by any means, but it falls to Begley. High tumbling ball, Morris going back with the flight. And it's been tapped down to Mentha, a little grubber, a dribbler. The wrong side of the post and through only 4 behind.
Very smart by McLaughlin there to tap it down to Mentha.
Richmond kick in. It'll be a little bit more difficult looking into the sun. And McDonough, who's taken them all game, sails this one out of bounds on the full over the head of Morris. It's outside of 50, so it won't be a direct shot on goal back over his head, but Richmond will have to batten down the hatches in defence once again. Can they get the right set-up kick here, Frankston? Maybe Newman is going to back himself for the shot here. 50 out on the boundary, very high degree of difficulty. Sets it high, it'll fall in the goal square, and it will fall onto the chest of Bailey Henderson, who takes a saving mark. Henderson chips it short. Egmalesi-Smith didn't go 15 metres, and so he has to break and run. Uses his left foot into the corridor. Very dangerous. Lots of Frankston players in the vicinity. Freeman led with his head, and the umpire is going to reward him regardless. He says a high tackle, and even though Rioli protests, the umpire has made his decision.
Great patch of play here by Frankston. We've said that this is the time where Richmond tend to, get a flurry of goals, but they're able to pick up their intensity and pressure around the ball, which hasn't allowed Frankston to have Richmond to get that free-flowing movement. So great work by Frankston. Let's see what Freeman can do here.
Just 2 goals for the season, even though he's averaging 38 touches a game. Freeman, it is a shot for goal. It is touched by his own man against the line. I'm not sure if Shepherd would have been the answer, though. Might have opened the door for Richmond to get a touch of their own. But instead, just another point. Shades of the first quarter. Frankston with a territorial advantage, but they're not quite making it count. 6-6-42. 10 points behind Richmond, 8-4-52. And Egmalesi-Smith takes over kick-in duties after McDonough put the previous one out of bounds on the full. Cook at the fall of this ball in a big pack and immediately wrapped up by a number of Dolphins players. So Rendell does the ruck work this time. Quick clearing kick inside forward 50. Egmalesi-Smith couldn't mark it. Voss gets the handball off. The shot for goal is good. The shot for goal is good, and Rendell trying to fire up his teammates because now it is back to a single-figure margin, and Frankston are looking good here in the third quarter, closing the gap. 7-6-48. Trails 8-4-52, and correction, the goal there goes to Brodie McLaughlin.
They've just seemed to be able to withstand Richmond's pressure at the moment and able to own a bit of the territory, which has been really beneficial for them. And McLaughlin there just composed enough in front of goal with, in play, ball in dispute, and just, kicked it through. And he's had a great game. Yes, he was inaccurate, but he's becoming more accurate as the game goes on, and that's when it counts. So good one from him.
Ball back in the middle now. Frankston within a kick. And they have not led this game, looking back in my notes here, since the 13-minute mark of the first quarter. So Richmond have held sway for 2 and a bit quarters after the initial burst from Frankston. Redo of the centre square, and away come the Tigers. High ball, and even though he flew for the mark, going in and trying to make it count at ground level, Arthurson gives away a free kick. A little bit clumsy. Richmond will get possession as a result with Cam Olden inside forward 50. Through the hands, almost the grab taken. And now again another big contest. Inside forward 50. Is the umpire saying push in the back? No. It's going to be a ball up. I think the non-controlling umpire might have suggested it was a push in the back, but there's not going to be a free kick forthcoming for Matt Bartlett. Or is there? There is.
I think it was maybe a dangerous tackle.
Well, the players didn't react like it was a free kick. They reacted like it might have been a ball up. Anyway, this would be a very important steadier for the Tigers here. Matt Bartlett has kicked 4 goals in his 4 games of VFL so far this season. Looking into the sun, you can see a deliberate approach as he kicks from 40 metres, almost directly in front. And he kicks truly. Bartlett gets the steadier that Richmond needed, and they go to 9-4-58, restoring a 10-point lead against Frankston 7-6-48.
Just like the nature of this, how this third term has started with that pressure, hot footy, contested footy, and sometimes that can make players, do things a little bit uncharacteristic here, where we see, Williams there with the dumping tackle, driving his head into the ground, which is not good, and all the research that's gone into, the head injuries and things like that. But Bartlett able to go back, kick a goal in a really important time for his team.
5 games, 5 goals this season for Bartlett, averaging 11 touches a game as well out of Blackburn. And he's continued to hold up that goal-a-game average here today, keeping Richmond's noses in front as we tick into time on of the third quarter. Centre bounce, won't be recalled this time. Clear advantage for Richmond. Collier-Dawkins gets the hand away. Couple of centre breaks in a row. Martin now out to the wing and flying to take the grab. That was impressive from Cam Olden. It was a key to the build-up for the last goal. And he's sending this one right to the edge of 50 again. Fly from the back. Came on that occasion from Cumberland. Couldn't bring it to ground, though. He gets a handball away. And now back outside of 50. Bit of a scrag on Cook. Not paid. Olden. Well, maybe he thought the boundary umpire was one of his teammates because he kicked it to no one in particular. And the numbers are there for Frankston to emerge. Freeman with the initial pickup of the ball. They've gone to a 1-on-2. Joel Nathan, first hands, not able to complete the mark. And Egg-Malesi-Smith is pushed out of bounds. Players running into attacking 50 down at the Frankston end before we can have the boundary throw in, as per the VFL rule. And now the tap down is going to go to Tiger hands. Collier-Dawkins is able to get the handball, and through go Richmond. McDonough, spot up target in the middle. Very nice lead to the ball from Oakes. Back to McDonough again. Tigers' ball use has been excellent during this little run. And so now they'll drive it inside forward 50. The kick coming from Martin. Down into the pocket. Cumberland not able to get to the ball, and it's going to be a throw-in.
Bit of a danger time for Frankston at the moment. There's been now 3 main stoppages where Richmond have been able to come out quite easily and take dominance and use the ground as they suit. So making sure that Frankston, picks up the pressure, keep that competitiveness that they brought into this first half of the quarter. Good
ruck work by Street there, knocking it down to the front, but Frankston are going to recover. Great smother as well. And that was courageous play from Cumberland. The ball has been spilled out for a boundary throw, and now only 10 metres around from the behind post. And again, players have to run, some of them 50 metres or more, to get inside the attacking 50 at the other end of the ground. Otherwise, for certain, they'd all be crowding up the field as part of trying to defend this situation for Frankston. This is Ralph Smith, shrugs a tackle, round the corner he goes. Not enough bend on that ball. It's going to sail across the face, falls in the forward pocket. Tigers hunting the ball here, though. Front and centre, the man Lowton couldn't take clean possession, knocked out of his hands. It's very much in dispute, and as the sun ducks behind a cloud, Cumberland is there, stripped of the ball, slipping over Martin, who's going to come away with possession. It's Frankston that do. Brolich rips a handball away. Now Max Williams. Rioli won't let him go. Good tackle coming in from Morris Rioli, and now Egg-Malesi-Smith with a little spin to shimmy away out of trouble. You feel like this is a big, important passage of play. Oakes inside, forward 50. Almost the grab for Ralph Smith coming over the back. Tapped into his path, and he's dumped in a huge tackle. And eventually, take a breather. It's going to be a ball up.
Gosh, it has. It really has picked up the past 5 minutes. It's been an arm wrestle all day, and right now it's a team is trying to find its dominance, and it's really exciting footy.
Tap down from Berry this time, right back into the mixer. Handball out for Frankston, though, and they're trying to get it away through Newman. Eventually shoveled on. Brolich dispossessed immediately. Connor Riley ripped off the ball. Umpires have put the whistle away. Naish gets it back to McDonough. He just breaks the shackles with a long high kick to the top of the goal square. Can they rush it through, or is it socked through? It's rushed through. Cumberland was lurking, but the ball had gone over the line. Just a point. Richmond 9-5-59, back out by 11. Frankston 7-6-48. Wonder how long this quarter might be. 24 minutes gone. Feels like we could be sneaking closer to the three-quarter time siren already. Egmalesi Smith didn't even raise the arms. The ball was well over his head. And Morris is tackled over the line.
Good result for Frankston, just to ease the pressure a little bit. Their backs have been under the pump for the past couple minutes, so just to have it out on the wing, reset, gain a little bit of composure now, and hope and see if they can surge it forward.
Boundary throw in then. Tap down, front and centre. Newman got the handball and sold his man Stern into a world of trouble because he was immediately set upon for the tackle coming from Morris. 25 minutes gone, still 11 points in favour of the visiting Tigers. Tap by Street. He's done quite a bit of relief rucking in this third quarter. Look at Rioli sharking the handball, giving it to Street. He keeps it moving now. Scanlon. Oh, he tried to give it back to Rioli, but they overcooked it. And coming through, Brolich is able to intercept. Freeman, handball through the traffic, and they're able to work it out of trouble eventually here. This is a really nice chain. Newman keeps it going. Looking now for Rendell. It bounces past him. Egmalesi Smith taking the game on. Runs into Connor Riley and holding the man. Free kick. Well played, Derek Egmalesi Smith. A little bit of push and shove after. You can see Egmalesi Smith is also trying to calm things down. As he looks to go through the middle. May have hooked that kicker. Not sure exactly who the target of that one was. Brolich knocks it on. Riley just bangs it on the boot. Can they turn it into a foot race here? Stern trying to get to the ball for Frankston, but his man outpointed him. Really well done by Jess McGrath. Held his nerve in a one-on-one, and Morris gets it away. And a good judge of the flight there from Lowton to take the mark. Goes central. Just the required 15 to Patrick Naish. Richmond switching flanks. McDonough has had a prominent third quarter. Joel Nathan, the defender, sensing the opportunity to get forward. Deep into time on. Tigers looking to build. They've got a few open men and a few spot fires that Frankston aren't putting out here. Martin throws it on the right boot. Goes into the forward pocket. Samson Ryan's got forward. And he was almost outmarked by his own teammate there, Ralph Smith. Eventually, bodies pile in. Ball up. And a crunching challenge. At the bottom of it all, the tackle coming in from Nathan Oakes.
That was a perfect opportunity for Ralph Smith. He was actually like a loose man out the back there, waiting for when he could launch for it, and he just went under the ball a little bit, which is always very annoying as a forward.
Samson Ryan gets the tap, but Freeman knew exactly where the ball was going. Not a convincing kick by any stretch. A high up and under. Cumberland flew, staying down Mackay, and away come Frankston. Hiscock round the corner, getting it outside of defensive 50. Ball allowed to bounce. Joel Nathan going back. He's wrapped up by Rendell. Didn't let him get away. And the umpire says holding the ball. And now Frankston, can they break? They've got a couple of players with gaps on their opponents here. Riley, quick hands off. Begley goes inside forward 50 and he spots up the target. And will it be a shot for goal? He has been the main man, Brodie McLaughlin, in this game. And this would be his best set shot by some distance because he'll have to go 50 metres on a 45-degree angle.
Richmond's defence got caught out there. As we've said earlier, Frankston like to set up their forwards quite high so they have that streaming run back into goal and they wait for that space to open up for them to work back into, which McLaughlin has done very well all day, and he has been the avenue to goal, and it's been good to see.
This feels like it would be against the run of play right at the end of the third quarter. In comes Brodie McLaughlin. He's going to get the distance. He is not going to get the accuracy. It goes across the face and through for a behind. That makes it 10 points. 7-7-49. It trails 9-5-59.
We're getting a good setup for a last quarter here.
Rioli called to play on. And so he just shows that burst of acceleration, but he gives the ball away. Stern took it off him. Begley round the corner. And unlike his turn and snap earlier in the term, he puts that one wide to the right. Good play by Stern to turn the ball over. Gap is 9 points.
Maybe the wrong time for Rioli to, take the game on. We are in the red zone. We don't want to have too many turnovers here in a red time goal. So maybe we just settle it down a bit here for Richmond and they can get to the fourth quarter without another goal scored against.
Egmalesi Smith still on kick-in duty. Newman flew, couldn't bring it to ground with him, but play continues. Mentha's alone inside forward 50. This is Mentha on his left. Bending, has it got the elevation? It gets there. Jack Mentha with a vital goal at the end of the third quarter. And that makes it just 3 points the difference. 8-8-56 trails 9-5-59.
Exactly what Richmond didn't want and what I just said. But how good that is for Frankston leading into this last quarter. Brings it to now 4 points, the difference. An arm wrestle of a day, and it's going to continue as we move on into this fourth quarter.
Just enough, because the man on the line was barely a fingertip away from touching it before it squeaked through for a major. Here's another look from ground level. Mentha with the left-footed snap and the celebration to match. So it's 3 points the gap at the 30-minute mark of the third term. Even though Richmond spent a lot of time inside their forward 50 in this quarter, they'll feel as though they've got scant reward for perhaps being on top of this game. And now Frankston are making a move in time on, and they're going to get a clean centre break here. Mackay, high and long. It's going to fall at the top of the square off hands, and unable to soccer it through was Rendell before it beat him over the line, but it brings the gap back to just 2.
Mitchell Cox has been really good in this quarter. He's able to just get his hands on the footy more, and just then with a clearance to surge it forward, and has been really good.
So kick in from the goal square. Henderson looking for his ruckman in Ryan, but it's the opposing ruckman in Berry that stands tall. Tigers must be wondering where the siren is. It's been a long quarter, ticking up to 31 minutes now. Into the forward pocket goes Berry, over the head of McDonough. And he's able to retreat and get the ball, and now he's wrapped up in a tackle. Brolich. A little worm-burning kick. Clean hands required. Voss. Naish took it away, and Naish gets the clearance. Out of the traffic he comes, and now he can try and show his speed. His leg, surely a trip, yes. And that free kick will give the Tigers a chance to steady. They want to move the ball quickly, though. Ralph Smith is streaming inside forward 50 if they can get it to him. Ball over the top. Mark taken by Lowton. He'll turn around and see a couple of options, but he's indecisive, so he's just going to kick it and give Frankston a chance to create a pack. It's going to fall. It's going to fall kindly, and it's going to be snapped through for a major. And Richmond get the vital goal right at the end of the third quarter. And it is Cam Olden who has put it through to make it 10-5-65 to Frankston 8-9-57.
It's unusual at this time of the quarter to move the ball quickly, but Richmond are in no position to hold it up too much because they only had a small lead. So now to extend the lead again by just moving the ball quickly and catching the Frankston defenders off guard. And a really great goal there by Olden in the end. Second
goal of the day for Cam Olden. And you wonder how important that could be. The man from Leon Gather has kicked a couple of goals in his first appearance in the VFL for 9 weeks. And it means that there's a little bit more breathing room as we tick towards three-quarter time. 8 points the difference now. Martin trying to win the clearance. Has to lay a tackle instead. Cox was the man he grabbed. And eventually the ball is out towards Rioli. Can he bring it into his grasp? He did ever so briefly. Was ripped off it by Newman. And now coming through Small. Given away McDonough. And booted forward by Newman, but straight to Egmalesi Smith. I'm not sure where they've found a 33-minute corner in this one, but we continue to play, and the clock continues to tick. High ball from Egmalesi Smith to the wing, and there is the siren. So we are really nicely set at the last change with Richmond 10-5-65, leading Frankston 8-9-57. It got back to 2 points before that late goal, and on a number of occasions Frankston threatened in that quarter, although I think Richmond will feel as though 8 points is no less than they deserve, given they did have a lot of territorial control. Before we go to some of the numbers, Bonnie Toogood, your thoughts on the game so far?
As you said, yeah, Richmond did have territorial control at points in that quarter. However, Frankston were just much more composed with the footy. They were cleaner, which is what I thought they needed to do coming into this next half, and that's allowed them to, close the gap between them and Richmond. However, there in the end, Richmond were just like, hang on a second, we've been winning, we're not ready to give up this lead, and we're able to sneak a red time goal in the end.
So goal kickers at three-quarter time for the leaders Richmond, Noah Cumberland and Hugo Ralphsmith have 3 goals each. Cam Olden, with that vital goal, now has 2 for the game right at the end of the third quarter there, and singles for Scanlon and Bartlett. While for Frankston, 3 goals for McLaughlin, 2 goals for Begley, and singles for Mentha, Stern and Young. Disposal leaders for Richmond at three-quarter time, 24 touches for Derek Egg-Malesi-Smith and for Patrick Naish, 21 for Martin, 19 for Collier Dawkins and Henderson, while leading disposal winners for Frankston, Newman has 27 touches, Freeman 25, Cox 14, Brolich 13. So, the last change. We'll have a quick break, and when we come back, the final term of Richmond against Frankston. Tigers by 8 at three-quarter time. Three-quarter time at SkyBus Stadium in Frankston, where the home team made their move, but Richmond steadied at the end of the third quarter, and they currently hold an 8-point lead at the last change, 10-5-65 to Frankston 8-9-57. Certainly a number of avenues to goal for Richmond in this game. Hugo Ralphsmith has kicked 3. Noah Cumberland had 3 all in the first half. Frankston's McLaughlin has been the man, but he's kicked 3 goals, 4 and 1 out of bounds on the full. Bonnie Toogood, which way do you see this game going in the last quarter?
I honestly can't pick it. If Richmond continue to play like they have with the pressure, but also their ball movement from one end to the other, I see them being able to just hang on. However, if Frankston are just clean, more composed, coming out of stoppages and can get a few other people involved in their forward line to hit the scoreboard, then I can see also Frankston coming through it on their home deck. So I'm intrigued to see how this arm wrestle will finish, and we've got 20-plus minutes to see how it all pans out.
And the sun has gone back behind a cloud, so no squinting required at the start of the last quarter. It's going to be Frankston going to the bay or end of the ground or the right of your screens. And we're ready to get this last quarter underway. Can Frankston come from behind, or can Richmond steady and win on the road? Free kick immediately going the Tigers' way in the ruck contest for holding the man, and taken quickly. Collier Dawkins gets the handball off. McDonough charging off the back of the square. Puts it high inside forward 50, and the mark is taken by Cumberland. Able to outpoint his opponent there in Lloyd, and he will turn around and survey the options. He'll have to go 45 metres on an acute angle.
That's a great run by McDonough to be that link into the forward 50. That stream off half-back is so important to break the game open, and then great body work there just to be able to hold off his defender and then just put the dukes up and take the mark.
Garrett McDonough, West Preston, 21 touches a game in the VFL this season. And here's Cumberland going for goal number 4. It's the proper side for a left footer, but he puts it across the face. Distance certainly wasn't an issue, so he's got that in his locker. Richmond score first in the final term, and they extend the gap out to 9 points. 10-6-66 to 8-9-57. And a vital kick in here. We've seen a couple of kick-ins come unstuck today from both teams, giving away, you think, of the easy goal for Scanlon at the end of the second quarter. Voss to Morris. And now Egg-Malesi-Smith. Chain of handballs ensues. Street. Joel Nathan. High tumbling spiral inside forward 50, and Lloyd nearly pulled down a big mark, but the ball remains in dispute and there to be won. At the top of 50, Naish grabbed as it tumbles on. Dylan Cook turns back, gives it to McDonough. Tries to find a burst of acceleration, and he's going to spot up a target in Riley Collier Dawkins. And he doesn't fancy the set shot. He goes outside 50, back to Martin. And so Will Martin is called to play on, and he chips it back to the pocket where Naish stands. And this is almost exactly the same spot where Cumberland had the set shot a moment ago, only this time it's not a left footer and it's not a forward.
They were trying to change the angles up with chipping it around the 50 there, but they get stuck in that pocket because of Frankston's good setup deep inside 50.
Patrick Naish has kicked 5 goals, 1 this season. So when he kicks for goal, he kicks accurately. This is asking a lot of him. He gives it a good ride. He gives it a very good ride. And when Patrick Naish shoots for goal, he kicks a goal. And that is big at the start of the last quarter.
That is a huge goal for a right footer from 50 metres out from that pocket. Good on him. He was picked 34, 2017, father-son. Played a total of 9 AFL games. He keeps knocking on the door with good performances in the VFL level. With round 11, he got 32 disposals and 2 goals. He's going well today with the highest disposal getter for Richmond to date, and he's having a good game and a good settler for Richmond in the fourth quarter.
So make that 6 goals, 1 on the VFL season, 11-6-72, plays 8-9-57, and Richmond striking first keeps Frankston at arm's length. Next goal, an understatement, is vital. And if Richmond get it, they might start to think about building a match-winning lead. Ball breaks kindly, and moving it forward, Bartlett. It falls inside forward 50. And away come Frankston. Kick round the corner. A good one in the end from Lloyd. And now finds Voss. Runs his full 15 and then some. And the umpire pings him. He ran his full 15 and then some. Running too far. Not a free kick you see paid very often. Maybe once a round in the AFL at the most. But Voss took too many metres there. And so Bartlett chips it short to Egmalesi Smith. And up on the wing, Egmalesi Smith. He's just going to go for distance. He's going to drop it on the head potentially of Samson Ryan. Big spoil coming from Williams, but there's a hold at the foot of the pack. And no advantage given, even though McDonough's kick has bounced through for a behind. Field umpire is going to insist that it comes back. And now in the first half, we saw Naish run around the back and get the little handoff from Samson Ryan. Do you think he takes the set shot here?
Well, Naish is in the middle of the ground. He's just kicked a goal. Egmalesi Smith is there. He likes a handball receive, but I think he should go back, take some time off the clock, either kick the goal or set it up at the top of the square.
So last time he lined up for goal, it was to this end of the ground in the second quarter. Samson Ryan, I did mention he has 15-7 for the season. And for now, it doesn't look like anyone's going to run past for the quick handoff. They are going to trust the ruckman to try and shoot straight and to extend the lead from 50 metres on the line. He has got it! Samson Ryan kicks the goal, and the Tigers have made their move at the start of the final term. 12-6-78, plays 8-9-57. All of a sudden, it's 21 points.
All he needed to do was back himself in, and he did. He looked a little bit unsure when it was before he started his run-up, but I'm glad he steadied himself and was able to kick the goal. He's been very accurate this year. Before this, kicking 15-7, as you said, now 16-7.
And at 21 points, Richmond are stretching the gap. It has been as high as 24 in the second quarter. But this is now red alert here for Frankston. If they want to leave with the points today, they definitely need the next goal. Up it goes in the middle. Tigers starting to assert some centre square dominance. Collier Dawkins taken off the ball though. And away comes Mitch Cox. Handball back into traffic though. It's there to be won. Scooped on by Ryan. Did well to get down to the ball. Voss protects the fall. Cox, they keep it moving. Frankston inside forward 50. Freeman takes the mark. And as I mentioned in the third quarter, he has kicked just the 2 majors for the season. So it hasn't been his specialty, even though he has averaged 38 touches a game.
It is great when you get your midfielders hitting the scoreboard. I think that's potentially a part of his game. We know he can accumulate the ball, but if he can have that scoreboard pressure as well, that makes him just an A-class midfielder in this league.
This is a very important kick for Frankston to try and peg back one of these quick early goals. Oh, he's gone the chip, and it's worked because Mentha has taken the mark, and so they buy an extra 20 metres, and now Mentha will kick from 30 out directly in front. And that apprehension to kick for goal has shown itself there from Freeman. However, it should turn into a goal assist. Mentha, whose team lifter in the third quarter, appeared to have Frankston marching towards the lead. At that point, it was just 2 the deficit. Now he kicks with his team down 21 and make that down 15. Mentha puts through his second of the game, and Frankston remain in the conversation. 9-9-63 trails 12-6-78.
I'd love to see the replay again just to see if that was potentially a set play. That's happened before in previous weeks where Mentha has been the one that they hit up when there's someone setting up for a goal outside of 50. And we here just have Mentha sitting there at the top of the circle, and then he just darts off and, looks like he wasn't even prepared for it, but fell in his lap and then he was able to convert.
Gee, it had to be a real pinpoint pass, finding Mentha in a little triangle of Tigers, but he kicked truly with the set shot. Gee, loves a goal celebration too. And why not? They're back within 15 points, but they still need to get a run on here, Frankston. Richmond have had the answers when challenged today. And we've now had 8 minutes of this final quarter expire. Tap from Ryan. Almost silver service. Naish couldn't come away with the ball. Was taken high. Made sure the umpire just noticed as well that he got a little hand across the face. Naish has already kicked a great goal in this quarter. Now trying to turn provider. Looking for Ralph Smith. Brought it to ground and wrapped up 1-on-2 immediately. And there's no chance Arthurson was letting him get away. So a ball up 25 metres out from Richmond's goal. Ryan roves his own work. And now the attempted kick round the corner, blocked out for a boundary throw-in. So we wait for the ball to be returned to the boundary umpire. You can see Scanlon is now doing the ruck work inside the forward 50, and he's going up against Liam Hiscock of Frankston here. Scanlon goes up, taps it into the corridor. It sits up for Cumberland. Not quite, just couldn't run onto that bouncing ball, and a pack forms around it instead. And we're going to have another ball up, barely 2 metres from the top of the goal square.
That could have been a fantastic goal on the fly. But it's interesting here. It's a very close contest at the moment. It's hard to break open for either team.
This time it's Rendell doing the ruck work, and he finds Newman. And that kick is bending out of bounds on the full, and that hurts so much. Enough pressure on the left-footed kick there of Newman to put it out on the full, and so Richmond now have the shot on goal coming up. It won't be easy from this pocket, and we'll see what Riley Collier-Dawkins can do. He's been a fantastic player for Richmond today. A checkside goal would cap it off, but it is only a behind.
Bit of a let-off there by Frankston. When the ball sits in your defensive 50 for so long, it's a matter of time when a mistake were to happen, and good for them that Richmond couldn't capitalise on that, but they've got to start getting the ball moving their way and get out of their defensive 50.
So this is an important kick in then, and they're going to get 60 metres for their trouble, Frankston. Off the big pack of players, Newman looking to make amends immediately for his kick out of bounds on the full a minute ago, but the ball tails away, out for a throw-in. Clock certainly Richmond's friend at this point of the game, up by 16 as we move into the mid-stages of the final quarter. Boundary throw-in. Ryan at the front, Brolich through his hands. Collier-Dawkins kept it moving, and now the kick around the corner from Oakes, bouncing inside forward 50. Players putting their head over the ball, well done by Lowton. And then Rioli ripped off it. Cumberland had it stripped from him. Ralph Smith taken down as well. Absolutely no time to free your hands or your feet in there, and it's going to be a ball up.
You can see the desperation by Frankston. They don't want to give a goal here, so they're tackling, pressure. That's what they need to do.
Scanlon this time beaten in the ruck by Rendell, and so away comes the clearance. It was Mackay. Morris, I think he might have thought he was claiming a mark, but not to be. Must have caught some grass on the way into his hands. And so it's going to be another ball up. Richmond keeping the ball in their attacking half, looking for a goal that might just break the resistance of Frankston here. Look at the bigger up tap from Ryan. Didn't find a teammate though. Brolich gets it out. Now Cracker. And to the outer side go Frankston. Loughnan. High ball round the wing, brought down Collier-Dawkins. He just goes where the footy goes, and he finds it once again. Looking for Rioli, asking a lot of him. Ralph Smith arrived late, though, able to shin the ball on. It almost worked out to Cumberland. Ball goes back into dispute, Who's going to pull it out of this pack of players? Again, it's a hot contested footy in there, and eventually Brolich got it away. Bouncing towards the boundary line, Egmalesi Smith will back his pace after taking possession. And on the fly, he sends a long, high left-footed ball. It breaks through the hands of Hiscock, but he recovers, caught in the tackle. And now Rioli with a big tackle. Handball breaking central. Ralph Smith knocked off the ball, as is Connor Riley. Goes back in, stripped of it, holding the ball. Vital tackle at a vital time, and it's going to be Bartlett, who kicked a goal in the third quarter, who turns around here in the last, looking for his second of the game.
He's known for his pressure, Bartlett.
Oh, he's handed it off quickly, and this is Garrett McDonough, and he hangs it out to the left. And even though McDonough's been sensational coming out of the back half, he couldn't replicate it there going for goal.
As I was saying, Bartlett, he is known to be that pressure player, and that's what you need with your smalls at the foot of the ground, just to apply that pressure and hopefully, as he did there, get a free kick.
Frankston again trying to break this Richmond trap that they're in and sling from one end of the ground to the other, but a push here means that it is going to be another free kick to Samson Ryan. He's run off his mark, so he has to come back and straighten up over the mark before he can use the ball. Too far out to score. He is just going to launch it high, roost it long, and drop it on the head of the pack. No flyers in there. It hits the turf, and now big tackle at ground level. And that's well done by Dylan Cook to trap the ball in once again. Frankston have not touched attacking side of centre for about 5 minutes now.
Yeah, and it's been some crucial free kick calls that just haven't fallen their way, but they need to figure it out to get it moving their way as they do here.
Riley with a spin and then a tumbling grubber that beats Voss. Bartlett chases it back. Quick hands off. Martin, decision time. Naish lost his footing at the key moment. He goes in and lays a tackle. Play continues. Voss charging through once again. That looked like kicking in danger by Naish. And again, that is a good call by the umpire. And so Lloyd takes it quickly. Frankston looking to break into space. Lofnan, bit of a floater, gives it straight back to Morris. Those hurt in this situation when you can't break the shackles. And Richmond have got Frankston in the chokehold at the moment. They're up 17, and the clock is their friend as Morris goes sideways to Street.
They have set up extra numbers behind the ball, Richmond, hence why their structure looks so good and so hard for Frankston to come out of their defensive 50.
Street uses that long left foot, breaks through the hands of Ralph Smith. Frankston with numbers at the fall. Are they going to use it cleanly, though? And given away, and popped through for a goal. Olden with his third of the game after picking off the handball. And Connor Riley has spilt the beans there because Cam Olden has put through his third major, and that might be the sealer.
It was almost like the Frankston players there were trying to do too much. Like Brolich was indecisive, and then we have Riley, make the mistake and just try to bite off a bit more than he could chew, and the turnover came.
And so 13-8-86 to 9-9-63 means it is 25 points. 23 points, and it means we're only a point away from the game-high margin, which was 24 back in the second quarter. Olden has now come up with 3 majors in this one. He only had 4 for the season coming into this game, but he had been out of the team for quite a while, and you can see why his return has been so welcomed today. Tigers well and truly in control now, and Frankston needing the response. Martin charged through. Not able to take the ball with him, though. Mackay ripped off it. Frankston need a cool head in this crisis, but they're not finding one. Rioli gave it away with this handball. Goes back in and lays a tackle. Cook is there. Rioli is there. Everyone persisting. Mackay piles back in. Ball is shoveled out. Lloyd ran straight back into a gang tackle, and he is taken to ground by 2 Tiger opponents. So ball up in the centre square. Brolich gets the handball to Freeman. He was wrapped up. Shouts for holding the ball, not heeded. Lowton stopped him in his tracks, though. And now the ball is trapped once again. A lot of stoppages in this final quarter. The ball is not spending a lot of time in open space. The rucks do battle. Flicked on by the third man. Lloyd turns around. Dinking kick into the centre square. McDonough came up to meet it. And now Cracker, good hands, gets it off to Newman, takes a bounce and a run. This is the ball in open space. This is Frankston's hope. Going back with the flight, great mark. And they will turn around and get a shot for goal. And it is the man of the day in their forward line, Brodie McLaughlin, who will turn around once again and bear the responsibility of shooting for goal.
Gosh, he's been good, and that was a terrific mark to be running back with the flight and then just being able to have the strength to hold off his opponent and just have lovely timing to pluck the mark was absolutely phenomenal.
So McLaughlin, he's got a bag. He could have had a bigger bag. Right now it's all about the context of the game, though. He needs a good kick here to keep Frankston in with a shout as we tick towards time on. He's hung it across the face. Has it been marked inside the field of play? Cox is going to get paid the mark. I think a lot of the Tigers players and even some of the Frankston ones had given up on that shot. And is the field umpire now having a conference with the goal umpire? Is it a point or a mark? This is a huge decision here.
Mark?
It's a mark. And so Mitch Cox is going to get the chance to bail Brodie McLaughlin out of trouble here because it was not a good set shot for goal. And he's gone and plucked it off the behind line at the last second. Check side required, and it is a goal. And so Frankston are able to stay within striking distance if they're good enough. And look at that, good to see McLaughlin first in to go and say thank you to Mitch Cox for putting through his first goal of the day.
I liked him going back and kicking a check side. You often see them setting up and doing a left foot snap, but if you're confident with how to kick a check side, then go back and back yourself in. It was a bit of a wobbly set shot and it faded across the face, but the ball's not, it's not over until the ball's over the line, and Cox took advantage of that.
So 10-9-69 trails 13-8-86. We're a minute away from time on, so the odds are still very much stacked in Richmond's favour. That's a great replay there, looking at the angle of the shot for goal. And Mitch Cox is up to 15 goals, 13 for the season. So maybe, if anything, it's a surprise we haven't seen him involved in more shots on goal today. But he's going to maybe have another opportunity here as Brolich gets the centre clearance. It bounces over the head of Egmalesi-Smith. Runners breaking towards goal. Begley is there. Morris came out to meet him. Great head-to-head collision. And Voss, his handball is not held onto there at the key moment by Mackay. McDonough comes out of defence, but it's picked off by Lloyd. He's been really prominent in this final quarter. Gets the handball on. Trying to move at Frankston, but they're not advancing at the pace they would want. Arthurson worked himself into a total lather, and he's lucky that the boundary line is there to save his blushes.
You could see the intent, though. They want to move the ball forward. They need to move the ball forward, and they just got unstuck.
So throw-in coming. Frankston still need 3 unanswered goals. Richmond will feel as though they are within touching distance of what would be just their 4th win of the VFL season. And when you consider the number of weeks we've lost due to lockdowns and the sporadic interrupted nature of the season, it will be a win to savour for a number of these players. Ball bouncing inside forward 50. Ralph Smith on the turn and doesn't find a man with his kick. However, Cumberland is there running onto it. Great tackle to catch him from Tyler Young. And the ball is spilled away. Voss with the clearing kick. Mackay takes the mark. Could that be a turning point for Frankston? That was so important as well, with Cumberland running onto his preferred left side. Freeman, again, off the back of the centre square, as he is wont to do. Turns it over. Garrett McDonough with a big interception. And he's got 2 Tigers there. As long as they communicate, Lowton will turn. Finds Scanlon. Back to Lowton. And he wasn't going to outrun his man chasing him, so he just handballs into open field. Frankston have got the numbers. Hiscock. And now Max Williams knocked off his kick, tumbling down the line. And McDonough, he's slung into the medicos on the bench. Is it going to be a free kick? Wow, okay, the umpire decides against it. It seems super late. It's going to be a boundary throw-in.
Definitely late.
Definitely a free kick.
Definitely a free kick.
Anyway, the umpires, assessors will deal with that, not us. Here's Brolich. And now Cooper Riley, he's had his issues today, but he gets his handball off this time. Brolich, and they're really getting wrapped up. Mentha, they wanted to just move it at breakneck speed, but they had nowhere to go.
And Richmond are up for the challenge. They're just so on top of what they need to do by coming forward and applying the pressure.
Ryan gets the tap down. Connor Riley, again, first hands on the ball, but immediately had Will Martin there for company. We've ticked up to 22 minutes now in the final quarter. Away comes Naish, just throws it on the boot. Will it take a kind bounce? It's tumbling towards goal. Cumberland is there. It goes the wrong side of the stick and is through for yet another behind. 13-9-87 to 10-9-69. It is 3 straight goals the difference.
Frankston have got to go. Slightly up the middle, that was that kick, but they've got to just surge, just so they can get some territory. And
right now it's the Tigers who are trapping them in defensive 50. Are they able to escape here? Arthurson, one handball blocked, another handball intercepted. However, the up and under kick from Henderson isn't going to his team's advantage. It's spoiled over the boundary line, but so much of this quarter has taken place down in the Tigers' attack. They've got this game on their terms. I'm
not sure if Frankston have enough legs now. Their defenders have been under the pump for so long, and they're a big part of their attack. So whether they can do it or not, I'm not sure.
And being one rotation down since the second quarter hasn't helped either, with Bailey Lambert going off with an ankle injury too. This is where that will start to pinch for so many players, as a mark is taken here by Stephen Morris.
Richmond are just so well set up behind the ball. Frankston just can't get a release mark out on the wing to even get any territory.
Morris, high, long. Frankston have got the numbers. Samson Ryan had the sit, nearly plucked it coming from 4 deep. However, the ball remains in dispute. Hiscock ridden into the turf, and the umpire's whistle will come to his aid. Push in the back, play on advantage given, and there was no advantage because Voss fell over and got trapped holding the ball. And you hate to see it, but he took his advantage and spent it.
He took his advantage and then was faced with Bartlett. Again, as said earlier in the match, he's that pressure player, and he just came forward and applied the good tackle even when the other player thought that there was an advantage.
So Bartlett handed it off last time he had a set shot in this final quarter. This time, a deliberate approach. He'd have to go 50 metres on a very tight angle. However, it does favour the right footer. He's not going to have the distance. He drops it in the forward pocket, and Samson Ryan stands tall. He brings in the mark. He rakes it in on those long arms, and this is a kick from almost point-blank range to put Richmond into the winner's circle.
We'll give Bartlett the benefit of the doubt, and that was definitely a set-up kick.
Well, if he puts it through, it's a goal assist, regardless of whether he meant it or not. And so Samson Ryan, a goal earlier in this final quarter, was a team lifter. This one, as you can see him taking his time and ticking up to the 25-minute mark of the quarter, should ice Richmond's 4th win of the VFL season. In comes Samson Ryan, and he celebrated the minute it left his foot. He's got 2 final quarter goals, and the Tigers are 4 goals to the good, 14-9-93 to 10-9-69.
Richmond have looked very solid up forward all day, whether it's Cumberland and now with Samson Ryan. That was just great body strength, as he had a defender hanging off him, as we can see, and then he just kept his feet, read the ball, and took a fantastic mark, and then had the ability to convert.
And as you see there, look at that, absolutely no time difference between the kick and the celebration. He knew it was a goal as soon as his foot met the Sharon. And so at almost 26 minutes into this final quarter, Richmond have a 4-goal lead. And they have found those avenues to goal. We spoke about it in pre-game, Bonnie, who was going to step up and kick them a winning score. Well, they've had different multiple goal kickers, and they've all had their little spurts throughout the course of the day, whether it was Ralph Smith or Cumberland, and now Ryan in the final quarter. Here goes Martin, and he's able to find Oakes. And, of course, I can't forget Olden, who has kicked 3 goals of his own. And he's trying to find Cumberland on the lead, but there was an interrupting hand. Collier Dawkins showing his agility to spin one way then the other, then gives it back to Oakes. Tigers have got a 3-on-1 if they do this correctly, and Scanlon takes the mark out on the lead and will turn around and line up for goal number 2.
The inside forward 50s have just been a lot more composed than Frankston has, and they've been able to change the lanes. We sound like a bit of a broken record there, but they love to change the angles and open up the 50 for the forwards to move into, as we saw Scanlon being able to run out on that 45-degree angle.
You can see there the entire left leg tattooed there for Jack Scanlon. He kicked his first goal in VFL footy in the second quarter to this end of the ground. This is a more challenging set shot in terms of the angle, And he's going to bring it back for another. It's party time for the Tigers because they are home safe now. And again, his teammates get around him. They really like his work in the forward line. 15-9-99 to 10-9-69. Richmond are going to salute.
He's had a really solid game again today. He's known for his running capacity and his clean hands, and we saw that there with a great mark. And then with his set shot, had a bit of right to left and eased her through from the right side post.
Well, there were some local footy leagues back this week, but the Bendigo Footy League had the week off, so Gisborne didn't play. And unfortunately for them, on today's showing, I'm not sure they're going to have Jack Scanlon available to them for too many more weeks this season because he's been good today, playing just his second game. So back in the middle, 30 points now, biggest margin of the game. Not forgetting that it was 24 points in the second quarter. Richmond have now separated themselves in style at the end of this one. And Frankston will be left to mull what could have been, really, in the first 10 minutes of this one, when I think they kicked, 1 goal, 2 and an out of bounds on the full, and perhaps could have had 3 or even 4 goals. In the meantime, they go inside forward 50 here through Riley. Now front and square is Mentha. He's kicking for his 3rd goal of the game, and he's good. And so Jack Mentha has had a nice personal return in this one. 3 goals, 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the last. But it is muted celebrations this time as the gap is cut back to 4 goals.
Really great there by Mentha. Yeah, it is a little bit one of those goals where you almost a consolidation prize a little bit. But he did a check side from top of the 50. Well, not top of the 50, we'll say 40 metres out, and got it through. He's had a good game. He's been solid, kicked 3 goals. Been prolific for them in the forward line, but they just couldn't get it done here.
And so even though it was the quick reply, it is a bridge too far at the moment. 4-goal margin here in the final quarter. You see Mentha working his way along the Frankston bench there. And so back in the middle, dying embers of this one. Richmond about to win for the 4th time in the VFL this season. Centre bounce will have to be recalled and done again. I did this to Ellie Blackburn yesterday, Bonnie. I'm going to ask for your listings. Your 3, 2 and 1.
A 3, 2 and 1. I think for Naish has been great. He's had 32 disposals now. And he gets my 3 with a goal.
We'll stay with play here. I'll give you a little bit of time to think about your 2 and your 1 because Voss is looking for a target. Intercepted. Morris last line of defence. And a big tackle laid. It will be rewarded holding the ball and turning around to kick for goal will be Josh Stern. And this could be, well, another consolation, I say. It would be his 2nd of the game and he's not going to waste any time kicking it because we're beyond 30 minutes. In comes Stern, and he made the goal umpire work because he missed it.
Came off the side of his boot, leaned back, he almost tried to nurse it through, which you can sometimes do when you're that close, and it came off the side of his boot, which is disappointing.
Oh, that hurts at the end of the day. But Patrick Naish for your 3. Who's your 2 and your 1?
I think I'm going to go with a Ralph Smith. I think he's been really exciting every time he is near the ball. And then I'm going to give my 1 to a defender. I think Joel Nathan has been great down there, whether it's in the air to create a contest or to be a rebound out of the defensive 50. There's so many more I could give it to that. That was on the spot and I could change it in 5 minutes.
Oh, it has been a very even team effort for the Tigers today as they go inside 50 again. Begley, snapshot, bending, but not enough, and through for another point. And so they have trimmed the margin a little with their last 3 trips inside forward 50. It's now 22 the diff, 11-11-77, trailing 15-9-99. 31 and a half minutes into this final quarter as the sun breaks out from behind a cloud, and we will finish the game in shadows once again. Here is Joel Nathan, one of Bonnie Toogood's picks as the best players today. And now ball on the half back flank for the Tigers, big tackle, and rewarded. So the free kick will be given. Bit of pushing and shoving as the ball isn't returned in time. And Loughnan eventually gets his footy and gets his free kick as a result, sending it high into the forward pocket. It's going to be marked at the back by Egmalesi Smith. He perhaps wasn't expecting it, but everyone ran under the ball, and so he just clasped it onto a chest mark and sends it Out to the halfback flank on the opposite side where the mark is taken by Tyler Young. Into the forward pocket he goes, and he can't find Voss. It's going to be a throw-in.
Malesi Smith's had a great game today, 28 disposals. He's had multiple rebound, and he is the go-to for a handball receive to get the ball surging forward. So he's had a great game.
So boundary throw-in. And there's been a whistle off the ball because Richmond didn't get a player inside their attacking 50 in time. And due to that unique VFL rule where you must have 2 players inside each 50-metre arc when there's a boundary throw-in, Frankston are going to get a little bonus here. Gee, the quarter's run long enough that if Stern kicked that goal, I'm not saying they would have come back to win, but they could have at least made it a bit more nervous here in the end.
Absolutely. This territory would have been great at the start of the quarter to put a bit more pressure on Richmond.
So James Rendell will line up for another goal to trim the margin once again. This would make it just 16 points the deficit. And he is good with the set shot. No arguments there. James Rendell kicks a major, and it's accompanied by the final siren. And so Richmond do win at Frankston, 15-9-99 to 12-11-83, kicking away to a lead of as many as 30 in the final quarter before a couple of window dresses from Frankston to trim that final deficit to 16 points. But it's the Tigers who improve to 4 wins, a draw and 5 losses on the season, while Frankston fall to 6-5. Before we go through the goal kickers and some of the key numbers, AFLW star Bonnie Toogood, your final thoughts at the end of this one.
I can't help to think maybe if Frankston were a little bit more accurate in that first quarter and had scoreboard pressure from the get-go, maybe the momentum and the energy of this game could have been a little bit different. However, they did come back and they did try to wrestle back the momentum at different points in the game, but Richmond were just too strong. They had great structure behind the ball, and their rebound and ability to move the ball from one end to another was great, with breaking the lines and changing angles for the forwards to move into good leading lanes. So good effort by Frankston. However, Richmond were just too dominant.
Let's go to the goal kickers then. For the winners, a really even spread. 3 goals, 2 for Cumberland, 3 straight for Olden and Ralph Smith, 2 for Scanlon and Ryan, and singles for Bartlett and Naish with that fantastic goal 50 metres out on the boundary early in the last quarter. For Frankston, 3 goals, 4 for Brodie McLaughlin, 3 goals, 1 for Jack Mentha, 2 for Begley, singles for Stern, Cox, Rendell and Young. Disposal leaders, Naish, 32 touches, 19 kicks and 13 handballs for the Tigers. Malesi Smith with 29, 26 for Collier Dawkins and Martin, 21 for Henderson, 20 for McDonough, while for Frankston, 31 touches for Freeman, 18 kicks and 13 handballs, 30 touches for Newman, 22 kicks and 8 handballs on his 100th VFL game, 26 for Brolich, and then a bit of a drop-off, 18 for Cox and Riley. Bonnie Toogood, I'll leave you with the final word.
The final word is, I love footy.
That's a good enough one.